Next up, we got Diddy trial day 3. Now, we officially have Cassie Ventura testimony. Now, this is the star witness right now of this whole thing, okay? So we have to see what happens with her. I heard it was a lot of crazy stuff she said, explaining all the things that Diddy has done to her. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Rotten Mango. Y'all say y'all been loving these Rotten Mango videos. So if you want more Rotten Mango videos, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Also, too, after this whole Diddy situation is over, I will react to it. But I can go back and react to the old Rotten Mango videos. Y'all had given me some suggestions, so we can do it now. It don't have to be when this whole trial is over, because this trial is literally going to be for the next 8 weeks. Okay, isn't that for the next 8 weeks? So it's gonna be a long time. All right, so I ain't gonna say I'm gonna wait till after the trial. We can still do it now. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can give me suggestions in the comments of what you want me to react to. I got y'all. 2-hour video. Sit back, relax, grab your snacks, and let you have it.
Sometimes there's a lot that happens when the jurors are not in the courtroom. Like the fact that there is a fight to decide whether or not Cassie can have her husband in the courtroom being her emotional support. The defense attorney, Anna Esteveo, says, "We understand Ms. Ventura's husband, Alex Fine, may be present in the courtroom, and we expect him to be a potential defense witness, so we would ask that he be excluded." Which makes sense if he's also going to be on the witness stand. He should not be listening to another witness who also happens to be his wife and the mother of his soon-to-be 3 children. That makes sense. However, prosecutor Emily Johnson states, more or less, "No, that doesn't make sense at all. We were advised of this approximately 10 minutes ago. He's not included on the defense witness list. Ms. Ventura's husband is here with his family to support his wife and testify publicly. We had, under the CVRA, she has the right to be treated with dignity and privacy, and she would like support in this courtroom as she testifies." To which lead defense attorney Tenny Garagos even states, "If I could just elaborate. What we have given the government is the witness list for our case in chief. The reasons are important because at this time, we can't really tell Your Honor who we know we would call. At this time, we can't say who definitely would call, and we certainly," the judge asks, "Wait, why wasn't this raised before this morning when he's here with his entire family inside this courthouse?"
Wait, so he's already in the courthouse and they're debating to kick him out?
Yes, he's in the courthouse waiting to come into the courtroom when Cassie comes in to testify. Cassie's brother is here, so is her cousin. "Your Honor, I apologize. I brought this up to Ms. Comey, but not Ms. Johnson yesterday. This is my fault. And then I didn't follow up on it last night. I apologize. We're not looking to not have her support people. Her brother is here, who was around all the while in their relationship, and we have our application, Your Honor, is that Ms. Ventura's husband not be in the courtroom under Rule 615. Rule 615 is basically the don't be listening if you're going to talk rule. The rule provides courts with the authority to exclude witnesses from the courtroom to prevent them from hearing other witnesses' testimonies. Right. The whole point being, it's to prevent witnesses from tailoring their testimony based on what they hear from other witnesses.
Exactly.
So for example, if everybody saw the defendant, this is not about Combs, just like a hypothetical defendant, if they saw him kick a koala, then it would be unfair for the group of people to hear each other testify about how he kicked them, what he said after he kicked the koala, and then they all testify in a row. Another thing that the defense points out is that Cassie's husband, at one point, did send a threatening message to the defendant, Combs. When Cassie and Combs were in the midst of their breakup, he sent, quote, "several very threatening text messages to our client saying that he would like to beat the F word out of his old," just several words that I will not repeat on the record. There are several threatening messages that my client received that we got in discovery from the government.
Okay. Nah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Me personally, I wouldn't be talking crazy to Diddy. All right, not saying that Diddy is the toughest man in the world, because we know that he's not. All right, but Diddy, okay, has connections. All right, to the devil. All right, so I don't know, bro. Hey, it might not be him, but you can get somebody else. Do you want to go up against the Illuminati? I don't know. I don't know if you want to do that, bro. I don't know, bro. Okay. I don't know. This is why a lot of people haven't done anything to him now or try to do anything at this point. All the stuff he's been doing over the years. This is why no one has spoken up. Because they're scared of this man, bro. He has literal power. Diddy right now had the power in the music industry to let anybody go viral. He had the power to let anybody go number one. Anything you ever want in your life. All you gotta do is get with Diddy. And then Diddy the type of person to get somebody to come damn near kid, you know what I'm saying? Damn near take you and then take him to his special Diddy layer, and you don't know what's gonna happen in that Diddy layer, bro. All right, so he might just torture you in other ways. Look, bro, I would not want to play with Diddy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. No cap.
Government. The reason
that's why I'm happy this is a case. You know what I'm saying? Because if this was the streets,
our witness list of court is that my client received, that we got in discovery from the government. And the reason we didn't put him on our witness list, of course, was because the witness list is for the defense's case in chief. But there are several potential witnesses that, depending on how the government's case comes in, we would have to put on in our case in chief, basically saying, depending on how the government handles this direct examination of Cassie Ventura, they might come in with forcing Alex Fine to testify.
Okay.
The government is so confused. They're arguing, I'm not really sure if at all he would be able to testify about an alleged rape that occurred between Mr. Combs and Ms. Ventura. But we're open to having that dialogue, and we would ask that Ms. Ventura be allowed to have her support. Her people, including her husband, here in this courtroom. She has various rights under the Crimes Victim Rights Act, and we would ask that he be allowed to be present. And this is happening the morning that Cassie's to testify. So she's in the courthouse, and they're arguing whether or not her husband be allowed in. The defense, they do something interesting though, because once Rule 16 is invoked, I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it. Once it's invoked, it's mandatory. You can't let him be in the courtroom. However, the defense, they come in swinging. They're like, no, we might call him on the defense witness list. He can't be in the courtroom. And then later they pull back a little bit and they state, we understand she would like her support people. If he wants to come into the courtroom today before we talk about the 2018 time period, we are fine with him remaining in the courtroom until then. We would just ask that he be excluded once we get into that time period. Eventually, it is agreed upon by the parties that Alex Fine, Cassie's husband, will only be removed for that particular part of Cassie's testimony. And it's hard to say what the real reason is on why the defense perhaps did not want Alex Fine in the courtroom.
That's what I was wondering.
I don't know. I mean, who could say, right? It could very much be that they're going to call him up as a witness, or it could also be the fact that from the moment that Alex Fine walks into that courtroom, because I was sitting behind him for most of the testimony days of Cassie, like directly behind him.
Like you're
literally
looking.
right in front of him. If I lean my head forward because the pews are kind of smashed together, I would headbutt his back.
Wow. Yo.
The whole time when he walked in, he had his head held
I just
high.
love how she got to explain, you know what I'm saying? She's a great journalist. And I think she
His
said,
chest out.
I think she classified herself as like not a journalist or whatever, but she's a journalist. She's a great one at that. And it's just funny how like sometimes how she explained things like, if she was that close, she was able to headbutt him in the back. Like, bro, you didn't even have to say that. You could have just said like, I could touch him. He was that close. I could just touch his back. She had to say headbutt. Wow. Oh, that's funny.
When he walked in, he had his head held high, his chest out, and he stared a lot at Sean Combs and all of his family members. And let's just say, I personally would not want to be on the receiving end of that kind of stare.
W husband though, if it is your husband or your wife that had this, not gonna lie, I would act the same way though. You know what I'm saying? I'm crashing out by mine. No cap. I go to what? I die behind that
We would like
coach.
to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the Joyful Heart Foundation. They are working to transform society's response to SADD, CA, and support survivors healing with resources. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team and also just us all being in New York and going to court every day. We'd also like to thank you guys for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. A few disclaimers before we get started. Regarding content, there are themes of DV, SA, and sex trafficking.
Wait, she has notes
Please
this
watch
whole
with
time?
caution. This episode is going to be a lot heavier than the recent one, so please take a break if you need to. Many of the quotes and the statements included have been shortened and or moved around and or condensed for brevity and clarity. already. However, this week's testimony was impossible to shrink into a standalone episode, so this is going to be a two-parter. In the first part, we're going to covering the direct, and then one part covering the cross-examination. And it's going to be questioning of the same defense, but I think there has been a lot of talks about the direct and the cross, and I also feel like there's a lot of things that are not being talked about that were, I thought, key.
Okay. Oh, never mind.
Moments.
Because I was on this looking for her show notes, and I see, what does rotten mango smell like? I'm thinking they talk about her, but they talk about actual rotten. Never mind. Never mind.
I also feel like there has been a lot of talks about the direct and the cross, and I also feel like there's a lot of things that are not being talked about that were, I thought, key moments. Now, speaking of the legality of things, Sean Combs is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This burden of proof is the responsibility of the prosecution, and all the crimes that he has been charged with are alleged until a verdict is reached. Any descriptions or observations regarding Mr. Combs, his legal team, the court, and or the public during the trial were personally noted by myself or my two other researchers who were present in the courtroom. They should not be used as definitive source to determine guilt or innocence or how you feel about someone. I do want to make some clarifications for the last episode. I did see some comments that informed me that the giggling in the courtroom when Sean Combs told a male escort that he was in the import and exporting business is a Seinfeld reference. So that's why people were giggling, and someone comments, total insanity that Diddy was quoting that, but also very on brand. The cross-examinations from the defense team is, someone comments, is giving that he wanted to pull a Legally Blonde, but the witness did not fail to keep his story straight. So there were lots of Seinfeld, there were lots of Legally Blonde references, and also I was absorbed in the comment section of the last video because there's a good amount of people either in law school or attorneys already that were giving me insight on why perhaps Donaldson conducted the cross-examination the way that he did.
Right.
And I thought some of them were correct. So if you guys are interested and need some closure on that, go check out the comments in the last video. But with that being said, Judge Arun is seated.
Should we check out the comments real quick? Let's try to do a quick little comment check. Quick little comment check. Let's see. Because this video already 2 hours long. So, I mean, hey, we might as well put everything in here. You know what I'm saying? And especially, too, this is history. You feel me? Like, this right now can live on YouTube for the next years, literally. So, I might as well get everything in here.
A worse day.
All right, here we go. Let's see if we get these comments. We seen it. Do we see this? These daughters are too young to hear. Oh, yeah, I seen this. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Whoever advised use as shields. Wait, what? Whoever advised him that his children can be used as shields forgot that Cassie is only a year older than the twins when he did. Oh, wow. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Yep, I remember this. That was tough. Oh, here we go. Lawyer here. The defense counsel's strategy is to gasp at straws and hope that the witness says something inconsistent to prior statements in order to impeach their credibility. Yep, I remember seeing that. Right? Okay. So he's really just trying to, catch him off guard, see if he changed his story. I don't ever hear the word correct? That was funny. Oh, my God, that's hilarious. It irritates me that his daughters are innocent, delicate flowers, but other people's daughters are his plate. Yo, chill. That's tough, though. Hey, Diddy making Cassie pay escort, greeting him by the door, and being communicated is a huge sign to me that he was setting up the case ever went to trial. Oh, like metaphorically putting her fingerprints on the gun. Oh, I ain't gonna lie. That's low-key facts, though. So Stephanie and Arms are going to say better facts. Correct? Correct? Hi, I heard another lawyer on direct. Wait, here we go. On direct, or when it's a witness. On direct, or when it's your witnesses on your. On direct, or when it's your witness you've asked to attend. You can ask open-ended questions, but not leading questions. Okay. You cannot sub a question like, right? Oh. Okay. On cross. When you are on cross-examination, okay, when you are asking questions of the other side's witness, you are allowed leading questions, but you are limited to what we talked about during direct. I didn't know that. Okay, so now we getting insight. So on cross, you ask the witness, this is your testimony, correct? Interesting. Wow. That makes sense. So we thinking that old boy was dumb, but the whole time he's smart. Basically, the defense attorney is trying to catch him in a lie, discredit him. Yep. So so we understand it then. All right. So bro did know what he was doing. He just had to do it a certain way. Correct? Correct? Oh my God.
Comments in the last video. But with that being said, Judge Arun is seated on the bench. He's at the very front of the courtroom. I have a courtroom sketch for you guys.
Oh, I finally wanted to see this. Now this is crazy right here. This is how you know this is some real court shit. Bro, usually they be on one end. Both ends right here. They both be, wait. Just the judge. Okay, yep. Who is this? Who is this right here? I can't see it. Whatever. But this is how you know it's some real court shit. They got one end on this side. They usually have one end on this side and one end on the other side. They got everybody on the left side. They don't have enough space, yo. So I wonder which defense team. Okay, here we go. Prosecutors in the okay. Defense is right here. And Diddy. The jurors' large video monitor. Oh, that's what they do. Else everybody gotta look to their right. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. And Diddy would be all the way to the left where you really can't see him for real. Like all the jurors really can't see him. You know what I'm saying? Because they kind of want to hide him, to be honest, or at least the defense want to do that. Oh no, he said Diddy right here. Oh, never mind. He in the middle, kind of. Never mind. I thought he was all the way to the side. Yeah, so Diddy has two different teams of defense, bro. That's actually kind of insane. Two different, bro. What?
Okay, so crazy. I am on the third to last pew on the back right side. Alex Fine, Cassie's brother, Cassie's cousin, as well as Cassie's legal attorney and like two of his fellow attorneys are also in the row in front of us. And then in front of them are government attorneys. So there's prosecutors that are not working the case.
So all of Cassie's attorney, the whole team is right in front of you. Right. You're looking at them.
Yes, and every time Cassie takes a break or if we have a recess or if there's lunch, they will walk out with Cassie. And then they'll walk back in with Cassie and they're literally right in front of me. Yeah. So the judge Arun,
like, they're literally right in front of me. Like, if I was to spit, it'd be right in the back of their head.
is asking, is the government ready to call their next witness?
Like, bro, you didn't have to say that. Yeah. But okay.
So the judge Arun is asking, is the government ready to call their next witness? Yes, Your Honor. The government calls Cassandra Ventura. This is the first time since 2018 that Cassie and Sean Combs are seeing each other face to face out of one of the double doors from behind where we're sitting. The door opens and in walks Cassie. She's wearing the long brown dress that you've probably seen pictures of her in already. And there is so much tension in that moment. The main thing that I oddly recall in what I wrote down is the noise. Yes, I'm like visually seeing everything and I'm visually like trying to analyze everybody's faces. But for some reason, the only thing that stands out in my recollection of that moment and my memory is that it's the noise, like the sound of the door opening and the sound of her walking on the carpet because I felt like it was that quiet.
Wow. It
was just so intense. She does not look at anyone when she walks in. She keeps her eyes glued to the front, but it's not like she's holding her chin down. She's not looking down. Her shoulders are back. Her stomach is like 2 watermelons. I mean, she's heavily pregnant. I don't even know how she's walking and not waddling.
She's like, what, 8.5 months?
Yeah. Additionally, when she sits at the witness stand, she has to lean in at times to speak into the microphone, which I'm sure just cannot be comfortable. She walks in, sits at the witness stand, and Combs, from my perception, is statuesque. And maybe it's in my head, but he feels more frozen than normal. And it doesn't even feel intentional. Because I think previously it felt like, it seems like he's trying to not give reactions. He's trying to be as still as possible, but this feels very naturally still. And when she walks in, like the whole time that she's walking down the aisle past us, like everybody's body is pivoting towards Cassie as she's walking. So our whole bodies are moving with her. Same as Sean Combs. He's watching her walk down the entire length of the courtroom. She does not look at him. And she sits down, and I obviously listened to a ton of interviews of Cassie when I was doing like my 8-hour Diddy Arrest series last year. Her voice was raspier when she was younger. Perhaps it was her environment.
I know like there's a recipe of restraint that I keep when I do a record.
Her voice is actually really soft, which I know some people are gonna be like, oh my God, she's faking it. But it didn't feel like that. She didn't sound like she was trying to sound meek and like so soft. It just sounded like she was very calm initially. Nervous, but calm. And I wrote down in my notes, because I heard, which we're not supposed to be talking in the courtroom. We're not supposed to be responding to evidence. We're not supposed to be having any sort of conversations. But I do hear someone whisper behind me, she's so beautiful. Prosecutor Johnson, who does the opening statement, she takes the podium right next to the jurors. She's blonde, it's a bob, I love it, she looks good. She looks at Cassie, and I will say the two of them, I'm sure they've seen each other countless times by this point, and again, maybe I'm overthinking things, but I thought maybe this is why Johnson did the opening statement, because when I was doing that recap episode for you guys, I like shortened and condensed that opening statement and like pulled the parts that I felt were the most emotional, but in the courtroom, I think it was like an hour long of an opening statement, and the cadence was a lot slower. So there were a lot of people that were in the courtroom that were slightly confused on why she was the one that did the opening statement, but that day, I'm like, okay, maybe this is why. Because the way I interpreted it, Cassie is looking at Prosecutor Johnson and she looks very safe looking at her. She's not really looking at many other people. She's either looking at Prosecutor Johnson or her family, who is right behind Prosecutor Johnson, sitting in the pews, and then I'm like right behind them. So, I mean, not that she's looking at me, but you get it. Like, I'm just giving you an idea of where we are. And she just stares at Prosecutor Johnson, and she looks like she's more at ease when she's looking at her. So she keeps leaning in to talk into the microphone, very pregnant. At a sidebar, lead prosecutor Comey even brings up to the judge, this witness is very, very pregnant. We are afraid she could have the baby over the weekend.
Yo.
We want her off the stand before the weekend. So it's that big of an issue. At times,
Dang.
Cassie's kind of supporting her belly. She doesn't really try to draw attention to the fact that she's pregnant. She's not like rubbing her belly, trying to gain sympathy. Not that I think that's a thing that someone would do, but she just seems uncomfortable. She's like trying to move, put her hand under her belly to maybe support it up, or put
This
her
is
hand...
why I give so much respect to women and so much, I just say respect, you know what I'm saying? Because having a child, giving birth to a human, to another life form, like, do you know how godly you are? You know, like, women are really giving life to another life. Like, that's crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Especially too, you gotta sit in your stomach for 9 months. You know how much... That's crazy, bro. Honestly, that's very crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I always give my respect to women. You know what I'm saying? No cap.
On her hips. There's a box of tissues next to her.
And how many hours you say she was sitting there in that position?
I mean, it's like
hours at a time.
So
right?
it's the jurors come in. Judge Arun really tries to do 9:30 to 5. It's like a 30-minute lunch and then maybe a handful of 10-minute breaks, like maybe 3 10-minute breaks.
And she's sitting on this wooden bench for like majority of the day.
Well, I think it has some cushions, that one.
Oh, okay.
But still very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable and very cold. Everyone in the courtroom is cold, and she
air
looked cold
conditioning.
as well. And it's just so silent. You can hear the sketch artists just like furiously drawing on their little posters. Through Cassie, the jury learns that she is 38 years old now. She was in an on and off relationship with Combs for a little over 11 years. She ends up signing to his label, Bad Boy Records, which notably, if you remember Notorious Big, Biggie was signed with Bad Boy Records before his murder. We're gonna get there. Cassie states that she signed a 10-album deal with Bad Boy Records. She releases one album in 2006 and then never releases another album. Cassie states that she was in prison.
No! Bro, Diddy is literally... Oh my God, Diddy. It's no way. He was never... Bro, you're talking about a 10 albums? First of all, 10 albums in general is a long... That's like almost, you could say 10 years. And that's if you drop every year. Sometimes the label will probably try to stop you from dropping and wait 2 years to drop. You know what I'm saying? Now you in this long contract for 10 albums, even longer. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't... No, Diddy didn't... You think Diddy wanted to sign a real contract? No! He just wanted you. Now, bro, Diddy is literally preying on new artists. Like, that's crazy, bro.
One album in 2006 and then never releases another album again. Furthermore, Cassie states that she was in a platonic friendship with Combs when she signed him, and it wasn't until her 21st...
No, I think I did hear that Cassie was kind of trash or something like that. I did hear that. Now, let me know if Cassie was trash. I remember watching a documentary on my Patreon, and they showed, like, it was like a video she got embarrassed or she was on stage or something like that. I remember that. So I guess she was kind of trash, too, you know. Maybe she could have been the next Ashanti, you know what I'm saying? Or something like that. I don't know. But I think she was trash. Let me know in the comments. Was she trash? I don't know.
Birthday that things start getting intimate. Side note, they are 17 years apart. Regardless, she says they go to Vegas to celebrate her 21st birthday. And that's when she's explaining, he kissed me in the bathroom of his actual suite pretty early in the morning. We had been up, all of us, pretty late. And that's kind of how she is for majority of her testimony. She looks very genuine in her thought, is the perception that I had. And obviously, I think I went in with biases, but she just, when she's asked a question, she looks like she's getting into that moment. She's like lost in that moment. It doesn't seem like she's stuttering of like, oh, I don't know, actually. It just seems like she's in that moment and just trying to say, yeah, that's what happened, basically. That was kind of her energy throughout. She says that she was really confused whilst Combs is just like scribbling down notes. So there's like a few different modes that Sean Combs took during Cassie's testimony. He's either very stoic, very statuesque, or there are moments where it feels like he's intensely staring at her. He could be staring at the evidence screen intensely, he could be staring at the judge intensely, but it did feel like he was staring at her intensely at certain points. Or he's like just scribbling notes. Because, I mean, they're preparing for their cross-examination. So everything she says right now is very important for the defense team. And I thought it was very interesting because Mark Agnifilo, the lead attorney, he's taking a lot of notes. But Sean Combs is taking a lot of notes. And I thought about it and I was like, you know, that makes sense because he doesn't strike me as the type of person that will let the lawyers just do their jobs. He strikes me as the type of person that is trying to be an equal part of the team, that is giving his input, that's giving his advice on the strategies. And Mark Agnifilo, he's also two modes throughout all of this. He's either like furiously writing on his legal pad or he's like leaned back in his chair like he's watching a movie. Like it's two modes. It's either like just passively viewing or just furiously taking notes. I think I was just really confused at the time. Again, young new artist, like just really didn't know the lay of the land when it came to things like that. So in my confusion, I just kind of cried and ran out. Wow. So she said that they kissed in the bathroom, she cries, and she runs out because she's not used to any of this before. She doesn't even understand it. This is the executive, the owner of Bad Boy Records, the label that she's just signed with. She says, yeah, I mean, I was pretty naive, I would say. I think the part that made it a little more confusing, maybe, to add some context, is that Combs was in a public relationship with Kim Porter at the time, and Cassie was publicly dating a producer named Leslie.
Oh, wow.
Cassie says she did not want to kiss Combs, not in that moment, but eventually...
So you mean to tell me, bro been literally S.A.ing her since the day they met? That's what you telling me. Since the day he met you, he already on his bullshit. He couldn't even play a character, act like he's a nice guy. He didn't even care. The first day?
Actually, they producer named Leslie. Cassie says she did not want to kiss Combs, not in that moment. But eventually they come back to New York and they start hanging out more. He was getting his apartment renovated, so she would meet him up at the hotel that he was staying at, which was, interestingly enough, the Trump Hotel in New York City, which there's always been conversations happening about the connection between Diddy and Trump. But Cassie says, even the first time she was invited to the Trump Hotel, she describes the feeling as, I mean, initially a bit nervous, and then just like being a young artist, excitement, of course, and okay, we're gonna talk about music or we're gonna talk about what's next. I think it's a lot of, in that time period that's just kind of hazy because it was a while ago, but just nervous and excitement. A while later, she elaborates on the hotel visits, and this is all the while, Combs, Agnifilo, scribbling in their notepads. I think it was nervous excitement. It also just made me feel sneaky. I didn't know. I was curious, but of course I ended up here and wanted to be like around him. So that was just kind of it. I was like, okay, I'm here. Leaving, it was just always confusing because I really didn't know what I felt. I felt like I didn't know what I knew, that I was making decisions for myself or not. I feel like I was just like, here I am. I don't know how to explain that. But through the hotel meetups of them just talking about these projects, they start developing a lot more comfortable relationship with each other. And then, quote, I remember being introduced to the idea of oral sex. It wasn't...
Oh my God. Diddy. She just got signed, Diddy. She hasn't even made it to the fucking studio, my nigga. What do you mean she just got introduced to oral sex? What? Huh? Please explain this.
Relationship with each other. And then, quote, I remember being introduced to the idea of oral sex. It wasn't something that I really understood or did at that point, and he basically taught me how. So
okay, wait. So she says she's 21 years old, and this is her first time knowing what oral sex is? Okay. I'm pretty sure every 21-year-old know what oral sex is. I'm going to just say that. All right, let's just say, everybody watching this video right now, at the age of 21, did you know what oral sex was, yes or no? There's not one person on this planet Earth that don't know what oral sex is at 21 years old. If you was 16, okay. You know what I'm saying? You can get away. You had nice parents. But 21? So you talking about, so she act like she a virgin then. Even though she had a boyfriend. Hold on.
That's when the relationship starts turning. Something that I really understood or did at that point, and he basically taught me how. So that's when the relationship starts turning intimate. Cassie says she becomes one of his girlfriends. And at the time, she didn't even know. It wasn't really confirmed per se, but they were always spending intimate time together, so she assumed that they're boyfriend and girlfriend, yes. But they never went public about it because, quote, "it's always just a discussion of me being his artist and not wanting it to look bad. But I also know it was because of his family and his children and other things that were personal for him." He's also publicly linked with Kim Porter around this time. Kim Porter being one of the mothers of his children, 3 of his 7 children. Well, actually, technically 4 because of Quincy.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's interesting because Quincy is Kim Porter and Albie Shore's son that Diddy claims he's adopted. Albie Shore denies that he's not been adopted by Diddy. And then Christian King Combs, and then you've got the twins. So technically 4 of the 7. And they start showing pictures of Cassie and Sean just to establish their relationship. Miss Ventura, directing your attention to the screen in front of you, do you recognize who's depicted in that still image? Yes, that's me and Sean. They're establishing the relationship, and these are pictures that you can Google from them on red carpets. Like, there are some more private photos, but nothing alarming, nothing salacious, nothing mind-blowing, just pictures of them hanging out with friends. And this is when I noticed something very interesting. And I thought, okay, maybe I'm thinking too deep into it. My researcher right next to me is like, no, you're not, because she took the exact same notes, and we're not looking at each other's notes in the courtroom. We're not talking, we're not allowed to, right? But when we came out, it was interesting. So when there were pictures of just Cassie on the exhibit screen, which is to the right of Alex Fine. So we all kind of, Cassie is directly in front of Alex Fine. And then Diddy, you kind of have to pivot a little to the left, or your eyes can pivot, but you know, your head can pivot. And then you can pivot to the right and you see this TV that shows the exhibits. When there were pictures of just Cassie and...
Wait, where's the witness stand at? This is the clerk and court reporter. This is the judge. So they in front of him? But I think these are 2 different people too, though. I don't know. Where is she at? Is she right here? Is she sitting next to somebody? This has to be her. This has to be her, bro. This is usually where they sit at. But it says, oh no, I'm tripping. Yeah, that's what it says. Clerk and court. Oh, see, I really couldn't see because it's kind of zoomed in. So I thought this line was connected to this line, but it's not. Okay, never mind. So I'm about to say, because usually they literally sit right next to the judge. So it's okay.
And you can pivot to the right and you see
I knew I wasn't tripping.
or your eyes can pivot, but you know, your head can pivot. And then you can pivot to the right and you see this TV that shows the exhibits. When there were pictures of just Cassie and maybe like Cassie and a girlfriend of hers, it seems like he would look at the screen. He would look at the exhibit. When it was a picture of Cassie and Sean Combs on the screen, I did not see him pivot any of the times. He's just looking straight at his wife. He will not look at those pictures. And those pictures are not salacious. They're like red carpet pictures, right? He won't look at them. But then, when there's pictures of abuse, he will look at them. And not only did we notice and perceive that he looked at the evidence of the pictures that show the abuse, like bruising, he will look at it, and then we saw him look and glare at Combs, the defendant, and the family. Yeah. So it's like when it was Cassie, he would look, and then he would look back at his wife. When it's Cassie and Diddy, he's just eyes fixated on his wife on the stand. And then when it's the abuse, he will look, and then he won't look at his wife. He will stare down the defendant and the family members. And this is like multiple days too. And what's crazy is they're looking back.
Oh, really? They're making strong eye contact?
At one point, and like at the risk of sounding super dramatic, Janice Combs is a very intense woman. She's very tiny. She's a short little lady,
That's
okay?
Sean Combs' mom.
Yes, this is Sean Combs' mom. She comes in like a lot of people. I did overhear hallway talk of her choice of wigs. You know, she'll come in, big old sunglasses, like just kind of interesting outfits, and she's a tiny, tiny little lady, but she is terrifying in my opinion. There's something about her that is so terrifying. So there's this moment where Janice Combs, Sean Combs' mom, I thought she was side-eyeing me. Not that I am anybody, but like just because I look over there. She's 2 rows ahead of us, but
Oh my God, Rod Bago, bro. Rod Bago is hilarious, yo. Rod Bago is hilarious.
this moment where Janice Combs, Sean Combs' mom, I thought she was side-eyeing me. Not that I am anybody, but like just because I look
See,
over
you know
there.
it's crazy. Like I really had only one like girl best friend in my life. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like she would be a good girl best friend. No cap. You know what I'm saying? I only had one girl best friend. And nah. But I do miss like having a real genuine friendship with a girl. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I don't have girlfriends now. Or girl space friends now. But like a genuine one now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just like I just don't have it. Like, I don't really have a real genuine connection with a girl that's not nothing relationship wise. It's just friendship. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like she would be that low key though.
Was side-eyeing me. Not that I am anybody, but like just because I look over there, she's 2 rows ahead of us, but on the left side, so diagonally 2 rows. But for Alex Fine, she's only 1 row ahead, right? Yeah. And I see her, and she's like, her head is still towards the front of the courtroom, but her eyes are peeking over her sunglasses, and it is the most intense side eye I've ever seen from anybody. And I was thinking,
this must be a good sketch too. I ain't gonna lie. W sketch artist. This is this has to be okay. This is Justin. I think this is the other one. Yep. And they got the twins on the east side and she in the middle. Yep. This is like a real like they on some like church girl shit. They got her in the middle and she in white and they both dressed in black. That's kind of crazy. Wow, that's crazy. This is a good little sketch because it don't have to be like a actual art, you know, but it also still is though. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I don't know how to explain it. Like I never really looked at sketch artists before. This is my first time really checking like all this crime stuff out. When it comes to this, at least, because we did like interrogation videos and crime interrogation videos, stuff like that. But when it comes to like actual court case stuff, we haven't done that. So this is really like my first time. So really checking out how a sketch artist is. This is a nice sketch artist. I ain't gonna lie.
Intense side eye I've ever
Especially you gotta do it
seen
fast
from anybody.
in the moment.
And I was thinking, what did I do? Like, did I accidentally bump into her at the restroom? She was not looking at me. She was looking at Alex Fine. And she held that glare for, oh my God, it was the longest glare ever.
Really? Was it Alex aware of that glare or?
I don't think so. But it was a really long glare. Just so intense. And with that, there are a lot of things that have gone viral now with the direct questioning or the direct examination by Prosecutor Johnson. So she's standing at the podium. Ms. Ventura, do you recognize who is depicted in Government Exhibit 2A501? Yes? Who is it? Scott Mescudi or Kid Cudi as people know him? We dated in 2011. We worked together for a brief period. Cassie says that when they were dating in 2011, she did not tell Sean Combs, but he did find out. How did he find out? He actually found out during a freak off in LA. He went through my phone and I believe he saw emails between me and one of Scott's staff members. It was about bringing my toiletry bag to my house or something like that the next day. What was his reaction after he saw those emails? I just remember him putting like a wine bottle opener between his fingers and like lunging at me. His eyes were blacked out, super angry, and I just had to get out of there. It was actually another time that I was able to get out of a freak off. She runs away to another hotel, gets her burner phone. So she's got a burner phone so that she can call Scott. Eventually, he picks her up. She's saying, this whole situation is not going to be resolved if I just keep running away. She's like, I gotta go and just explain to Sean what's going on. Like, we were on a break. Maybe we're moving on. Maybe we're all moving on, you know? And it's not like he's not seeing other people. She says, when I arrived at his house, that was the house where his bedroom was on like the top floor. It's this massive mansion in LA. So I went into his room and he was irate. He was just so angry. And when I was in the room, he told me about the videos that he had, that he was going to release of me and how he was going to hurt Scott and I. So that was all said there. And then I just ultimately left. When I was leaving, I was more than ready to go. Sean, kicked me in the back on my way out. So I just had a big bruise on my back. I fell to the floor.
Kicked you in your back?
Yeah, and then left. I had a large bruise on my back. The day is fuzzy, but I had bruises in other places on my body. I just remember that one significantly because he literally kicked me with the bottom of his foot in my back. When she goes back to the hotel room, it is trashed. She doesn't know, but it seems like allegedly that one of Sean Combs' guards, maybe himself, maybe one of his accomplices, I don't know, trashed the hotel room. She says it was just torn up. There was somebody peed all over the floor in the bathroom. My clothes were everywhere. All the furniture was turned upside down. Somebody pooped in the toilet and didn't flush it. It was just gross. So she gets another hotel room with Scott, and that's when she sends an email to her mom. And
now I genuinely want to know, did they wipe their ass? That's what I want to know. You pooped in the toilet and did what? Did you just get up and pull your pants up, bro? I know they didn't. I know they didn't wipe their ass, bro. I just know they didn't. I know they didn't, bro. It was just all you seen. You looked in the toilet. All you seen was shit. That's all you seen. And shit streaks too. It's smeared on an actual toilet.
Scott, just in case, as a record, it reads, threats. The threats that have been made towards me by Sean Puffy Combs are that he is going to release 2 explicit sex tapes of me. One on Christmas Day, maybe before or right after, and another one sometime soon after that. He has also said that he will be having someone hurt me and Scott Mescudi physically. He made a point that it wouldn't be by his hands. He actually said he'd be out of the country when it happened.
Wow.
Soon after that, Cassie flies home to Connecticut to be with her mom. And within
Hey, bro,
hours...
remember, we just started. This is like, they asking her about a random boyfriend, you know? Or actually, no, they probably, because since this is the testimony, the prosecutor is helping her out. So they probably did escort this and plan this, you know what I'm saying, for like the first time. Is this the first time everything happened? I wonder. This must be the first time she ever got, you know, essayed. Or not essayed, but DV? Yeah, DV.
Scott Mescudi physically. He made a point that it wouldn't be by his hands. He actually said he'd be out of the country when it happened.
Wow.
Soon after that, Cassie flies home to Connecticut to be with her mom. And within hours, her mom is taking pictures of her giant bruises on her back because she's like, no, something's not right. You abruptly fly to Connecticut and now, like, what happened? I'm sure her mom has like a sixth sense. This is her daughter. Cassie tells her mom that, no, this is the first time that Sean Combs has ever been abusive. She says, I just wasn't ready. And I was also just terrified. Because the prosecutor is asking, why didn't you just tell her the truth? Like, that this has been going on for so long. Like, it's not normal. What's not normal? Just constantly being bruised up by the person that you love or that says they love you? Like, you can't justify it to anyone, just especially not your mom. At that point, Cassie requests that Scott and her break up. At this point in the testimony, Cassie requests a break. And so she walks out abruptly. Her husband is also following her out. Now, I will say that Alex Fine the whole time, he doesn't look happy, especially when he's looking in the general direction of where the defendant and the defendant's family are sitting. I would not even say that he looks stoic or neutral. He looks kind of pissed. But when he's walking out after Cassie requests a break, he looked like he was like ready to burn the world down for her.
Really?
Yeah, he looked very upset, but in like a protective way. It didn't just look like he's like, I'm so angry, you know? He seemed very upset. Like, I think he's upset at the fact that his wife is going through this. After that break, Cassie comes back to tell the court that in Connecticut, because Kid Cudi had come to Connecticut with her, she just wanted to break it up with him. She said it was too much danger, too much uncertainty of what could happen if they kept seeing each other. When you say danger, what specific danger were you worried about? I mean, Sean said to me before I left LA that he was going to hurt the both of us. And I at least took that in my mind, like, if I stay in this situation, we both will be hurt. If I don't, no one will be. He mentioned that when we were out of the country, that Scott's car would be blown up. He wanted his friends to be there to see it. When you say he wanted his friends to be there to see it, who is he? Sean wanted Scott's friends to be there to see the car get blown up in the driveway. But after that incident, Cassie Combs and Kid Cudi do end up meeting up with each other, and this is like information that I have not come across until the testimony, at Soho House in LA. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss the relationship that we were no longer in. Yeah, and the only thing I remember from the end was Scott asking Sean. Scott said, what about my vehicle? And Sean said, what vehicle? And that was the end of the meeting.
Wait, they met up and talked about, we don't know.
Yeah.
At all.
Just that they're no longer seeing each other.
Okay.
And that was the part with Kid Cudi that everyone has been talking about. And I think the internet has been speculating that potentially he could be called to testify. Kim Porter was brought up a lot. And I think it was interesting for her to be brought up in the presence of also her children. Now, a picture from the 2006 BET Awards pops up on the exhibit screen. And it's Kim Porter, Combs, Cassie, and a woman named Sherry Dennis. They're all on the red carpet. Who is Kim Porter? Kim Porter was Sean's ex from Before Me and the mother of his children. So far, Kid Cudi, Kim Porter have come up, but there hasn't been much discussion that we didn't already know from like a few months ago about the two of them. But also, the infamous Suge Knight comes up. If you need some context, it's like, I genuinely think Sean Combs lived 10 different lives. Suge Knight is like from 5, 6, 7 lives ago. Cassie says, Combs and Suge Knight's, yeah, we're rivals. Which is very valid. Combs had Bad Boy Records from New York. Suge Knight had Death Row Records for LA. They had Notorious Big, Sean did. And then Suge Knight had Tupac. And so they got the infamous East Coast, West Coast hip-hop rivalry, which semi-results in Tupac and Biggie Smalls' death, their murders. There's actually quite a bit to unpack with Suge Knight. And this is how Cassie describes the incident at the Melrose Diner, where Suge Knight is shot. And there's speculations that Sean Combs had something to do with it. Cassie says, Sean and I were having a freak-off at one of his homes in LA. And I just
love how this is casual at this point. You know what I'm saying? Sean and I were having a freak off. Okay. All right.
We were kind of like just chilling at this point, and D-Rock, one of the security guards, came in and he said that Suge was down at Mel's Diner, which was just right down the hill. And they quickly packed up and drove down there. What was your reaction? I was crying. I was screaming, like, please don't do anything stupid. I was just really nervous for them. I didn't know what it meant, what they were going to do. I saw them get dressed and leave the house. And you mentioned that they returned. Is that correct? Yes. Approximately how long between when they left did they return? It really wasn't that long. I couldn't imagine. It was probably like Definitely less than an hour, 30 minutes, 30, 45 minutes tops. When they get back, the prosecutors, they now want to focus on the guns. Have you ever handled Sean's guns? Handled? I've been handed, yeah, but scared. Who handed a gun to you? I don't know specifically who, but it was some security guard in the car. Approximately when did this happen? And what do you recall about that night? I just remember we took mushrooms and I was like really high and I was handed the gun to just hold in my bag. But I was just freaking out the whole time that it was gonna go off. I hadn't used or learned to operate a gun at that point, so.
Wait, is this like kind of like the J-Lo situation?
Yes, so this might be important later because if you guys remember, there was an incident a while back, and this is when Sean Combs Diddy was reportedly dating Jennifer Lopez. There was a nightclub shooting, and it is alleged that J-Lo had a gun in her purse as they left the nightclub. This is what we said about it months ago. As they're dating, both of them get arrested in New York City for a shooting that happens at a club.
The suspicious death of Diddy's ex, Kim Porter. Oh, yeah, okay, right, okay. Because I didn't know how they said Kim Porter died, so I didn't know about that, okay. So yeah, okay, so this is my first time hearing about this.
It is alleged that J-Lo had a gun in her purse as they left the nightclub. This is what we said about it months ago. As they're dating, both of them get arrested in New York City for a shooting that happens at a club. Diddy had been at this club with J-Lo, Shine, which is like a musical artist that he had just signed, I believe, and his bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones. The four of them are at a club when an argument breaks out and somehow that escalates to shots being fired. Ultimately, 3 people get shot. There are witnesses from the club that are certain that they saw Diddy holding a gun in his hand. Diddy's protege, Shine, was also holding a gun. And according to a witness, that's what the witness remembers, but they fell to the ground because they had been shot in the shoulder. Another bystander, she had nothing to do with the initial fight. She doesn't even know these people. Her name is Natanya Rubin. She was shot in the face by Diddy, she claims.
Diddy!
A 18-year-old musician gets arrested at the club. Diddy and J-Lo had already left by the time the cops come. They ran straight to the car. Side note, some allege that Diddy zipped out of there, leaving his girlfriend behind. But either way, they both end up in the car being chased by NYPD. I think they run like 11 traffic lights before they're finally pulled over.
Yo.
And inside the car, some sources allege inside J-Lo's purse was the gun because Diddy would make her. Anyway, long story short, there's a lot of allegations that Diddy was the shooter. They all.
And they, you know what? That's what I'm saying, bro. And this, like, we all know this is speculation and stuff like that. But let's just say, bro, he really did do all this shit. Because they talking about, so let me tell me, he killed Kim Porter. He probably set Biggie up to die. And first of all, he set Tupac up to die. Then he set Biggie up to die to gain all the money. So that's 3 bodies under his belt. And we're not even counting all the other people that's not famous. All right, just the normal people he everyday encounters that might mess his life up. You know what I'm saying? He want to get rid of them. Calling hits and shit. Think about all that karma. And then you remember, you have money. So the money solves all problems, legally at least. You know what I'm saying? So money solves problems, bro. Let's be honest. All right. So you got all this money to cover everything up, and there you go. Hey, I'm cool. I got money. I'm rich. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody, I done paid you $100,000 to keep your mouth shut. You gonna shut up, or if you don't, you gonna die. So who's gonna say something? You feel me? Who's gonna say something? So now you have all this. For all these years leading up to now. And now you having these freak offs, you doing even worse stuff. You doing freak offs now, you doing all this. Doing this to women. First we was doing this shit to men. Now you doing this shit to women and men in the freak offs. Like, bro, all this karma added up, bro. Shh. If this is true, Diddy is cooked, bro. Not even just by the law, by God. God is going to cook him. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. Shh.
Anyway, long story short, there's a lot of allegations that Diddy was the shooter. They all get arrested. J-Lo's charges are dropped. Now it's just Diddy, his bodyguard, and his musical protege, Shine. But Cassie states she had that gun in her bag. It was in my bag for the duration of the club visit, so like about an hour and a half. And how did you feel while the gun was in your bag? Just terrified? I didn't want anyone to touch me, come near me. I just stayed like sitting in the back. After you left the club, what did you do with the gun? As soon as we got in the car, I gave it to whoever the security was. I just didn't want it. I had no idea why I had it in the first place, and I just wanted to not be holding a loaded gun if I was. Speaking of guns, Cassie testifies that there are a lot of guns inside the Combs homes. Firstly, he has a lot of homes. Secondly, he reportedly has a lot of guns in those homes. Cassie says she personally saw guns in his New York, LA, Miami, and Jersey.
Let's check out his house real quick, because bro is rich. You know what I'm saying? I aspire to be like this. Okay. This one is a chill mansion. You know, got a lot of trees. You know, chill. This is a chill mansion. This right here, more of a 1940s, 1920s look. I actually seen a video about this. Yeah, I seen a video about this. Now I think about it. This is the house I seen. Okay, yep. Cause I think somebody went inside. It was one of them YouTubers went inside Diddy's vacated mansion, and this is the one. But I think it was a pretty nice house though. You know what I'm saying? It's like the little 19s, 20s look. You know, this one down here, not bad. This one of them more long houses. It's not high, but it's long. So you got a long ass hallway. Okay, would I live in a house like that? Maybe. Maybe I don't want to be all the way up in the air. You know, maybe I do want a flat house. Never thought about it. I also like the backyard too. A lot of space right here. You know, you literally just have your whole. This might be the backyard. Now I think this is the backyard. You just have your whole little life right here. Like this is cool. You could put a basketball court. You know what I'm saying? A little cookout spot. It's nice. You know, and you got a little walkway. I see that. Okay, I think I like this house. This is definitely in Miami. Decent house. Decent Miami house, you know. Really got a lot of trees, and then just, you know, everybody got a pool back there. Cool house. But I think he bought that just because, you know, Miami life. Like, you know, I gotta be in Miami, so these are the houses in Miami. I'm finna get one here or shit. Fuck it. It might not be the best house, you know. Cause I can't, bro, the trees really throwing me off right now, bro. It's too many trees. You know what I'm saying? That actually low-key made me irritated, but whatever.
Jersey residences, just like laid out on the table by security, handguns. She says, yeah, maybe there was no point in those guns being laid out on the tables. She said it felt psychological. New York, LA homes. Secondly, he reportedly has a lot of guns in those homes. Cassie says she personally saw guns in his New York, LA, Miami, and Jersey residences, just like laid out on the table by security, handguns. She says, yeah, maybe there was no point in those guns being laid out on the tables. She said it felt psychological. She says it's a vague memory. Just they came out here and there and guns were taken out here and there. So like, just I always felt like it was just a bit of a scare tactic. I didn't really know for what purpose. However, Suge Knight is now in prison, and he has always been suspicious of Sean Combs, and he still does jailhouse interviews saying that he's suspicious of Sean Combs.
Wow.
But since we're on Suge Knight, we also have to talk about Notorious Big real quick. Cassie mentions that there are
just real quick, who y'all like better, Biggie or Tupac? R.I.P. both of them. Me personally, I like Biggie. You know what I'm saying? I like Tupac too. You feel me? But I just feel like Biggie was better. No cap. My opinion. You know what I'm saying? I like both of them, and I feel like honestly, anybody who wants to compare both of them, you can't compare both of them if you haven't listened to all their music. I've listened to all Tupac albums and all Biggie albums, and I came to the conclusion that I like Biggie more. No cap. So if you haven't listened to all Tupac and Biggie albums, you can't even give an opinion. You haven't listened. You probably listened to all Tupac music and only 3 Biggie songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not even cool. Like, how you gonna give a comparison?
Used to book hotel rooms for these freak-offs. Big, real quick. Cassie mentions that there are aliases that the two of them would use to book hotel rooms for these freak-offs. Cassie went by Jackie Starr, Veronica Bang, and Anita Crawford. Combs went by Frank Black or Frank White. She's asked, turning to Jackie Starr, why did you use the name Jackie Starr? That was a name that, I don't know who came up with it. If it was him or me, that I just used to actually book dancers. So I would use that name instead of my own name, and then just started using it as a hotel room name. But she never mentions
Jackie
why
Starr.
Combs was named Frank Black, or Frank White. If you look online, Biggie Smalls would often refer to himself as Frank White. He got the name from a movie character who, quote, goes from ashy to classy, and he would sometimes be called Black Frank White, because it's just a big part of his lore. So if you're not familiar with the Biggie lore, I will link that episode below, or just wait, because there have been whispers that the conversation is going to arise again. Biggie has since obviously passed, but there's whispers that it's going to be a bigger conversation later on. Prince is also brought up. What? Cassie is explaining that one day she was with her makeup artist, Myla Morales.
So this is where all the famous stars get brought up right now. So we're going to see if these famous stars did the same thing. Here we go.
Cassie is explaining that one day she was with her makeup artist, Myla Morales, at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And one of the friends, she's just there with a group of girlfriends. One of the friends is like, do you know that Prince is having a party at his house? He's going to perform. I mean, we gotta go. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime experience to see Prince at a private performance. So Cassie shows up. She says, we arrived and went downstairs. There weren't that many people there, and Prince wasn't performing yet. So we were just there, and I saw some executives from like BET. I saw different people that I knew through Sean, and then suddenly I heard that he was there.
Prince or Sean?
Sean. Huh. She did not tell him Because, I mean, it's not like she was, I mean, she thought that if she told him, he was going to say no. It's not that he asked and she lied. She just was with her girlfriends. And then the night ended up at Prince's house at a party where there's a bunch of other people. Cassie says that she immediately books it out of there, though. Just like runs as fast as she can for the hills into the front yard because she could tell that he was angry. She says he came after her, quote, "It's a little fuzzy, but the most distinct memory I have is like running and falling into the bushes in the front yard. And like, I don't know if at that point he was over me. I have no idea. I just remember falling in the bushes and then getting up quickly, getting into the car and getting back to the hotel. He follows her to the hotel where the makeup artist, Mila, is asleep on the couch. So he bursts in through the room. She's like, please, can we just like fight in the bedroom? And she says, we had this bad fight. He beat me up in that room. He was throwing luggage at me, just calling me all kinds of names.
Is he just very jealous, controlling?
Yeah. Now, there are allegations that before the trial, that Prince's name might come up during the trial. It could be referring to this. It could be referring to further allegations that Prince and Combs would party together. People thought it was strange. But most people seem to agree that the relationship between Combs and Prince was more professional, distant than close friendship. Okay. Now, side note, more celebrity names will come up during the cross-examination of Cassie, which will be covered in the next one. But the most important name that I think that came up during the direct, I will say, when some of these big names came up, the jurors seemed a lot more attentive, a lot more awake. Like the minute that Kid Cudi came up, they're like jotting notes. Like these names are, I mean, a lot of people know these names, especially Kid Cudi for some reason.
Okay, what's
now,
the name?
there is this moment, though, where the government requests back-to-back exhibits to be shown to the witness, to Cassie, but also to the open court. And all of them are pictures of male escorts, which, side note, Alex Fine does not appear to be looking at the pictures of the male escorts. And I don't think it's because he's upset and, like, shocked at his wife having gone through this. Like, some people are trying to make it seem like, she had so many partners, he's so disgusted. It just looked like they are at a different stage in their lives now. They have to come and testify, but they have a family, and he's just choosing not to look at the photos. Like, that's how I perceived it. Now, she's responding to the ones that she recognizes. She's like, this one is Islander. He was hired for freak-offs, and I think he was on the site Latin Men. Next exhibit, I knew this one as, I knew him as Tommy. Next exhibit, I don't really recall his name. Next exhibit, I knew him as Skylar. And this is Jake. This is Greg. And then another photo pops up, and the jurors have zero reaction. But the press, there's shuffling in the press. People are like, writing in the press. Like, you just hear pens on journals. Miss Ventura, who do you know the individual depicted in Government Exhibit 2A624 to be? Jonathan? It's Jonathan Odie. Do you remember him? This is what we said about him a few months ago. They say the floors of the Trump National Doral Miami Hotel are impeccably clean, evidenced by footage of a man dressed in black inside
Actually,
the hotel.
you know what? I do remember seeing him now. I think about it. Wait. Yeah, let me see.
This is what we said about him a few months ago.
I didn't watch her video, but I remember seeing this in the documentary.
Odie. Do you remember him? This is what we said about him a few months ago. They say the floors of the Trump National Doral Miami Hotel are impeccably clean, evidenced by footage of a man dressed in black inside the hotel that gets released. He's in this nearly empty area.
Bro, what the fuck is
this? And his wrist seems to be made out of jello.
No, hold on. What the fuck is that? No. What the fuck is this?
Of a man dressed
No.
Stop. Miami Hotel.
What is this?
Are impeccably clean, evidenced by footage of a man dressed in black inside the hotel that gets released. He's in this nearly empty area of the hotel, and he's pointing his gun behind him. And his wrist seems to be made out of jello while he's just shooting up in the air at the ground. He's sometimes shooting at the chandelier, sometimes at the ground itself. And the footage is interesting. He's just recklessly shooting his gun. He's slipping on the freshly cleaned floors multiple times. He's wearing just socks.
Yeah, why is he? Okay, this just looks like a movie or something. Like, this don't even look real. What?
He's slipping on the freshly cleaned...
First of all, why do you have socks on, bro? What are you doing? And I ain't gonna lie, them floors is a little bit too shiny, bro. The first thing that pops up in my head is that Diddy came through here and shined these floors with Diddy oil, bro. It gotta be, my nigga. It's like anywhere Diddy goes, Diddy oil just spawns on the floor. It's like when he walks, it's Diddy oil is under his shoes, bro. No cap. He probably flooded his whole place with Diddy oil upon arrival. No cap, bro.
Floors multiple times. He's wearing just socks on tiled floors. Then he gets up and then shoots around like his wrist is made out of jello and then starts running trips again. Honestly, if you told me this is movie footage of a man who is shooting at ghosts, I would potentially believe you.
That's what I'm saying.
It's real footage. It's real footage of a man screaming, "Come out, mother!" while shooting at the ceiling and in the lounge areas. This man also grabs an American flag to drape over the front desk of the hotel. This is during Trump's presidency.
Oh, he is shooting.
He goes behind the counter, starts breaking, smashing the computers.
When the Miami-Dade police arrive, a shootout ensues, both sides are firing, and in the commotion, the gunman manages to flee. He is found later hiding near the elevators with gunshot wounds to his legs. 1 gunshot to the right ankle, 2 to the left leg. Interestingly enough, most of the shots fired by the man were into the floor and ceiling, and ultimately the only one shot, thankfully, was himself. The man, Jonathan Odie, is arrested. He's a sticker for a website called dancingbears.com. It's an X-rated website where male dancers put on big bear masks and have intimate relations with women. But he continues rambling about, quote, Obama is Osama. Trump makes his money on gas. Kill all the police in the street. Useless, good for nothing, nada. All of you. Laws are corrupt. Police death has come to you. You be judged. Die for now and for hell and for all of eternity. People in the streets are going to shoot you. Get heart attacks. You're all dead. I'm going to let them know to put a bullet in your head. My dog, Bubbles, you got to let him out of the apartment, Bubbles. If he does not eat, he will die. He then proceeds to pass the officers his house and car keys. Don't hurt my dog, Bubbles.
You don't have,
what the
yeah.
Just my dog, Bubbles.
He continues on his rambles. I have a settlement. I have a settlement with the former president of the United States, Obama. I have a settlement with the current president of the United States, Donald Trump. And I have one with P Diddy. Excuse me? After the hospital, Jonathan Odie is brought into an interrogation room. Here's what I want you guys to know. Diddy and Ross, which they're good buddies, okay? And they're gay.
Ross?
Rick Ross.
Oh!
You're confused. Who is?
Diddy and Ross and Khaled.
Oh.
They're all gay.
Oh!
Rick Ross and P Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Oh! Stop
That I was
that.
telling you about. He puts his hands up in a triangle shape. The Illuminated group, you know, the Illuminati, which is an elite group, okay? Individuals which run the whole country, all right? What I...
Don't tell me we're doing this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We're here. This is a new time in life where the Illuminati is getting exposed. Hold on. Now, Illuminati is so powerful though. Would they even let you know that even if it did get out, they would still cover it up? So I don't know. Hold on.
Group, you know, the Illuminati group that I was telling you about.
We gotta go back, bro.
Rick Ross. The police are confused. Who is?
Diddy and Ross and Khaled. They're all gay. Okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know the Illuminati group that I was telling you about? He puts his hands up in a triangle shape. The Illuminated group, you know, the Illuminati, which is an elite group, okay? Individuals which run the whole country, all right? What I did this for was to basically transmit a statement to the American people because they want the United States to fall. They've been creating chaos and confusion in the United States. They want the United States to fall. You have the Illuminati, basically, which means illuminate. They do satanic ritual abuse, which is basically CIA mind programming techniques to their own family and kids, and they bond that way. They do animal abuse, killing of animals, blood sacrifices, and everything in the Bohemian Grove. You know, where the bushes go?
Okay, how do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
Sean Combs.
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P Diddy, whatever you call himself. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
It's the black people.
Oh.
I'm from Africa, so I'm not a racist.
Okay.
You're my brother, so I like black people.
Okay.
My mom, I was raised by an African woman in my house, okay?
And the police are like, okay, right, okay. So I have this settlement with Sean, and he belongs to that agenda. That's why he's so famous. They land over contracts. Okay. He leans in, he puts his arms on the table.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot.
Because when they would do it, Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I'll be in there. I was like a slave. Yeah, for them. That's what I was. He leans back. So I caught herpes. He goes on.
What is going on?
What the?
Yeah,
You're right. What is?
Seems like the ramblings of someone who is.
Bro, what is happening right now, bro? What am I watching, bro? All right, this is W, bro. W Rotten Mango, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. We gotta go down the whole Rotten Mango lore, bro. No cap, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. We gotta go. All right, this summer, we gonna watch all her videos.
Herpes. He goes on.
What is going on?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like the ramblings of someone who is a little unhinged.
Yeah.
He leans back and he goes on to explain that Diddy's 2 attorneys asked him to turn in a video recording. Those 2 attorneys are also involved in Michael Jackson's death and the Illuminati. It's unclear, but it seems like he's stating a video was recorded of the supposed counter and he turns it in, but he also states, they gave it back to me accidentally, and it's possible that I threw everything out, but it's also possible that I could produce a copy. I'm not sure. Now, how does that lead up to him going into the Trump hotel with a gun?
Right.
My settlement put me in a box. Basically, I couldn't talk because I was already sued. So I let it be, but they've been following me, and they've had, Smart Carol has had the FBI on me, has had other agencies looking at me and spying on me, okay, because they want to set me up as an extortionist, like if I was extorting Sean for money. It's wrong.
Basically what happened is the Ciroc agenda, the Ciroc vodka agenda, is to promote binge drinking and drugs. The hip-hop agenda, that's why they had Tupac killed. Because when they killed him, they gained pain. That's when the record sales go up. That's how you become famous. That's how you do it, all right? Tupac is still alive. He's in Cuba. Basically what happens...
All right, bro. Okay. I feel like first of all, okay. Because not everything that's on social media is what you saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this stuff been speculation on social media. You feel me? Oh, yeah, Tupac is in Cuba. He really alive. Now, whether that's true or not, okay, you would think if he did come out to be actually alive, it wouldn't be actually Cuba. You know what I'm saying? Especially if everybody on social media think it's Cuba. Why would it actually be Cuba? That would make sense. It'd be some other hidden country or hidden place we don't know about. And it's like, oh, yeah, Tupac's still alive in Cuba. That's just like a saying. That's not actually mean that he actually in Cuba. You feel me? That's like just what you say, bro. So it sounds like social media kind of like, I don't know, bro. I feel like some of the stuff he's saying is true, but then he's still probably on perks. To be honest, bro. Okay. This is gonna be a long video. We got another hour.
Famous.
You made it this far. You already know what to do. We're gonna play a little game. Number 1, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Hour in the video right now. We got another hour. This is like the peak of the video right here. Like, we an hour in the video, and this the peak right now. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is why her channel is good, cause like it's leading up to something, and then it ends at the top. Really, you feel me? So you damn near have to watch the video. Like, and the video be 2 hours long. We're 47 minutes into the video, and right now this is the most entertaining part. It doesn't matter if we watched the whole 47 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying the first 47 wasn't entertaining. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying though, it keeps getting better. Like, the beginning was good, okay, but now it's getting better, and we're only 47 minutes in, so it's gonna keep getting better. That's like, it's literally a cheat code, bro. She's literally a cheat code. This is a cheat code YouTuber right here, bro. No cap, bro. That's what I'm saying. Roddy Bago, I understand why she's winning, bro. No cap. I see Roddy Bago. Okay, Roddy Bago to go. Roddy Bago to go. You know what I'm saying? Not gonna lie. Hey, can somebody give me the Roddy Bago lore? You know what I'm saying? Just let me know more about her and like how she got on YouTube and stuff like that. Like, what's her story? You know? But like I was saying though, we in an hour right now. We're gonna play a little game. You know what I'm saying? The game is to comment a word. Word of the day. Boule. Right? Well, how you say the word? What was that word he said? Boule? Yeah, Boule. B-O-U-L-E. Comment B-O-U-L-E. So I know you're watching.
Killed.
Diddy Boule.
They killed him, they gained pain. That's drugs. The hip-hop agenda, that's why they had Tupac killed. Because when they killed him, they gained pain. That's when the record sales go up. That's how you become famous. That's how you do it, all right? Tupac is still alive. He's in Cuba. Basically what happens, it was in the hip-hop agenda.
What?
He alleges, in more simplified terms, they move drugs all over the United States. They move drugs in private jets that don't get screened within the United States domestically. They move all that dope in the private jets. They move what's called high-grade powder MDMA. They move cocaine. They move liquid cocaine in their bottles, too.
Whoa.
I seen liquid cocaine. I've drank it myself.
Damn.
That's Diddy and Cassie. Okay, it's not good. He drinks it all the time. All right, he calls it Gigi. That's liquid cocaine.
All right.
Many state it sounds like an interrogation that one would watch to study for psychology class. And to be frank, there's many parts of the interrogation that sounds like the unhinged ramblings of someone who has lost touch with reality and has gotten swept up in every internet conspiracy possible.
Right.
Perhaps he created a whole fantasy of two high-profile A-list celebrities, and in his mind, he truly knows them. He's met them. He's had these encounters with them, but it's all a fantasy, right? It doesn't change the fact that he committed this crazy crime, and it does appear that most of what he's saying are full-blown conspiracies, we hope.
Thanks.
But the question is, what if there's even a little bit of truth to what he's saying?
Yep.
And now Cassie has just confirmed that they know each other. He recently did an interview with News
forgot.
Nation
I forgot. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. She did say that, did she?
Hope. But the question is, what if there's even a little bit of truth to what he's saying?
And now Cassie has just confirmed that they know each other. He recently did an interview with News Nation from a Miami jail, by the way. He says, I felt bad because I got along well with Cassie. I think she's a decent person, and unfortunately I had a suspicion that she was in a situation that, which I wasn't sure. And now understand what was going on in her life and what was happening, and
beating her up in the hotel shows me the type of individual he is.
confirms that everything that happened to me was true.
See, this stuff right here, wait, so when she posted this video, when was this video? I wonder if we can look it up real quick. Was this when the whole Diddy stuff happened? Maybe she went on like a... Just see right here.
Missing.
What happened? Oh, okay, yeah. So this is 7. So I think this is when it happened. I think this is when the stuff started happening with Diddy, and she must have went a whole deep dive into Diddy life or something like that, bro. Because when did the person? Okay, let's go ahead. Let's see. What's this dude name? When did he do this? Because why did nobody know about this? I guess because in the thing, because it says he on TV.
The hotel.
He on TV right now. So this all right now, this whole time, this was just like a conspiracy. This is another conspiracy theory. You feel me? And now it's been confirmed. It's crazy. Illuminati, bro. How would that's the thing? It's like is Illuminati getting exposed? Wait, what? This don't even make sense. The Illuminati getting exposed? The Illuminati damn near run the country. So them getting exposed is kind of like, they wouldn't even let this happen. Oh, this is blowing my mind. I ain't gonna lie. There's no way I just ended the video. Oh my God. Anyways, this is blowing my mind, bro.
Shows me the type of individual he is.
Confirms that everything that happened to me was true and correct. He was saying like PI were following him. He was scared for his life. He says all this starts because he was making more money to perform sexual acts. He says, I got dressed like a police officer. Do you recall Witness 2?
Yeah.
I got dressed like a police officer, and they stripped me down, and then they offered me some money. They offered me some money to do some extra sexual stuff. He describes everything pretty distinctly. He says, the freak-offs, candles, he would just sit in the corner sofa, watch, and he'd tell her, give instructions what to do to perform it. Rub baby oil. Then he'd tell me, rub baby oil on her, perform oral sex. He says that he probably engaged in 15 sessions, and he would get paid about $800 each time. He says the biggest issue, though, that he had was Cassie just seemed so drugged out that he decided, I feel like she's going to die one day, and they're going to blame it on me.
Oh.
So he says that he records a video at a freak-off because he's scared. He says, quote, because after she passed out, I decided to record that. So in event, anything worse happened if she died, well, anybody died, they'll be on camera, they'll be on video. Like, I wouldn't be responsible for any of that.
Fact, W.
He records it, but they catch on. He says Combs and two associates in ski masks start coming to get him, and Combs just starts threatening Jonathan. That's what he's accusing. Eventually, allegedly, Jonathan signs an NDA and takes, allegedly, $5 million of what some might call hush money. It's unconfirmed, but there is a screenshot of an agreement floating around.
2014. So all the NDA, because I heard that the NDA would be 10 years. That's why NDA is so good, because you can't stay in for 10 years. And you will hope that the person that is signed this NDA, you will hope in 10 years that they basically forget about this. That's what the bad people will do. That's what you hoping. The person will forget about this in 10 years, a decade, and I don't have to worry about it no more. But 10 years ended. So everybody NDA ended after 10 years, and that's exactly when it happened. 2024 is when it happened, bro. 2024. Wow, bro. Let me make sure y'all can see real quick. Comb parties. Oh, this shit dead ass serious. What the fuck? Sworn to and subscribe for me on this blank day of July 2014 by Jonathan Odie, who was personally known to me and who did not take an oath. Public of Florida, signature, Notary Public, State of Florida, Sean Combs originally, and on behalf of Bad Boy Worldwide, Sean John Enterprise and affiliate entities, persons, Comb parties. Sworn to be subscribed by Sanko, who is personally known to me and who did not take an oath. Damn.
On the internet. We don't know how accurate it is, but he did immediately start going on a real estate shopping spree in Florida.
Did he buy something?
Yes, he bought like a bunch of real estate. Now, hold on to Jonathan Odie because he's going to come back in the next episode as well. There were a few moments where they're pulling something from the evidence and Cassie would just kind of quietly shift in her chair. She just seems really uncomfortable on the chair. She's not trying to move or fidget too much, but anytime there's a moment where she's not being asked a question, she's like trying to readjust her belly, her positioning, and her shoulders will go up. And then she'll just kind of like lower them as if she's like releasing tension. And she reaches for tissues to wipe her tears. And again, this could be a very strong bias, but I was thinking about it and I'm like, I bet she's really lonely up there. Because it's not like you can just say, hey, can I have my husband sit next to me? Hey, can I like go and meditate for 10 minutes or like go cry in the bathroom? I mean, she can take a few breaks here and there, but I imagine that feeling to be very lonely. Like your brother, your husband, your cousin are in the courtroom. They're so far away. And there's all these scary people in between, and scary, not like threatening, but you know, attorneys are scary, they're intense. Right. The jurors are just sitting right next to her. And it's just like,
yeah.
Prosecutor Johnson asks, and how did you learn what a freak-off was? Within the first year of our relationship, Sean proposed me this idea, this sexual encounter that he called voyeurism, where he would watch me have intercourse and sexual activity with a third party, specifically another man. When Sean first proposed freak-offs, what was your reaction? Oh, I just remember like my stomach falling to my butt, like just the nervousness and the confusion in that moment. I think I was 22 at the time. I just turned 22. I didn't have a concept of how that would be a turn on, but I also felt a sense of responsibility with him sharing something like that with me, you know? So yeah, I was confused, nervous, but also loved him very much and wanted to make him very happy. So how did Sean describe voyeurism to you? He described voyeurism as a fantasy that he had where he would want to see me having with another male and having sexual interaction. Yeah, he would watch. What was your reaction when Sean told you about voyeurism? I was shocked. I wasn't expecting anything like that. I just really, like, at a loss. I didn't know how to react. I didn't want to upset him if I said that it scared me or if I said anything outside of, okay, let's try it, because I was just always down for the things he wanted to do. I was really nervous, like really, really nervous. What, if anything, did Sean say to you about swinging? Swinging was brought up separately, and it was a lifestyle that he taught me about couples that switch partners. And yeah, I didn't really have too much knowledge of it. Did you agree to try a freak-off when Sean first proposed one? I did. Approximately how old were you when Sean first proposed freak-offs to you? I think I just turned 22. And how did it come? How did the term freak-off come about? I honestly don't remember exactly how it came about. Can you describe for the jury, when you say the term freak-off, what that entails? Basically, it entails the hiring of an escort and setting up the experience so that I could perform for Sean. And what did the performance involve at a high level? The performance involved... I'm sorry. She seems to start getting emotional. It just involved watching, Sean being able to watch me with the other person and direct us on what we were doing sexually. And when you say the other person, who are you referring to? The third party, the escort or dancer that would be hired? Cassie explains during the freak-offs, Combs would provide ecstasy and alcohol. What did you wear to the first freak-off? Specifically, I don't know exactly, but it was definitely an outfit from a sex store, Hustler, or something with some really high platform shoes, like dancing shoes. Always super see-through netting outfit. It varied, just like a sexy outfit from a store. What are some of the stores you would buy outfits at? In LA, there's a store called Pleasure Chest, Hustler on Sunset. Here in the city, there's just like little shops everywhere. She says that she would always wear those stripper dance shoes, just like extremely high heels, uncomfortable, but extremely high. She would wear them throughout the entire freak-off. Sometimes if there was a break, she would take them off, but mainly she would wear them throughout. Who decided what you would wear to the freak-offs? I would purchase outfits and show Sean and see what he liked the best. What, if anything, did you do to disguise your appearance? She states later that the very first time, Sean told her that they would be wearing masks, like a masquerade mask, and then later sometimes she would wear glasses, sometimes she would wear wigs. What, if any, supplies were needed for freak-offs? Main supplies were baby oil, Astroglide as lubricants, and condoms. Who typically bought the supplies for the freak-offs? More often than not, it was the staff. Like, the room was usually stocked by the time we got there. If not, if it were like a last-minute situation that I set up, I would get things, or sometimes Sean would bring them. Initially, what kind of lighting was used for freak-offs? Initially, it was candlelit, so various candles. What kind of candles were used? At the time, really strong smelling candles like Glade or Diptyque, any just really strong smelling. Approximately how many candles were used? Approximately 6 to 10. They were placed so that Sean could see me and the escort in the candlelight. Later, she says that there was a distinct smell during freak-off, so perhaps that's why they used the very strong candles.
What does that mean?
Right.
Lots of just mixing of scents, of
like baby
body
oils
scents,
and-
baby oil, but also later there's blood and urine and... Besides lighting, were there any other
You guys
uses
are
for candle
cutting.
wax?
She just cut it.
Blood and urine and... Besides lighting, were there any other uses for candle wax? A couple of times where it was poured on the body, but it wasn't common. When you say poured on the body, whose body? My own or Sean's? And specifically, she even goes on to mention that the candles, if they were the Glade ones, they were the Angel Whispers scent. And she says, if anybody knows what that smells like, just like on 10. It was super pungent and mixed with oil and just all of the other scents. What other scents were there? I mean, it was warm. So he liked to keep it kind of warm in the hotel room during the
He
freak-off.
said that. It's a Twitter video of him saying that. See if I can find it. It's literally a Twitter video of him saying that, bro. Diddy talking about his parties. It's literally a clip. Here we go, right here. I found it.
These may be Diddy's very last seconds of freedom for the rest of his life.
What is this? Someone else.
Been placed on suicide watch, which is said to be routine procedure and not because...
Is this an AI? This might be an AI video. It's not the actual video. Here we go. Yeah, give me more of these, bro. Oh, here we go.
Have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta, they just, you know, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah,
you know, rock with me, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, you know, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
What the fuck? Diddy! Diddy! Diddy!
So, body odor, you know? Side note.
You know, that's what I'm saying. You be seeing all this shit on the internet over the years. You feel me? Like, oh yeah, he just talking shit.
To keep it kind of warm in the hotel room during the freak-offs. So, body odor, you know? Side note, I did see another interview previously of Cassie where she talks about being a germaphobe.
Do I have any phobias? I'm a germaphobe. Don't shake my hand if you didn't wash yours.
Yeah, and she does seem like very squeamish every time she talks about these incidents of like the freak-offs. How was the baby oil used during the freak-off? It was just as important as everything else being there. We used it quite a bit. Can you please describe what happened at the initial first freak-off? We took drugs, we had a conversation, Sean had a conversation with the dancer, and then shortly after he came down to the room and performed and stood in the doorway and danced for a little while I just watched and while Sean watched us. What happened next? It was just a gradual, I would say, every freak-off was like directed by Sean, like he knew specifically where he wanted everyone to be, the lighting and such, so the first session we just kind of ended up getting closer and closer, talking to each other, and then eventually had to put oil on each other. Yeah. You use the word session. What do you mean by session? A session in a freak-off would be like one full time, the escort, until basically they finished. Do you recall how many sessions you had with the first escort at the first freak-off? I believe we had at least 2. After this freak-off, how did you feel? Well, I was high, so there wasn't too much feeling. I think it was a mixture of dirty and confusion, like, okay, he's really happy with me and I did something right, so just really confusing. I didn't know that what was going to happen after that. I didn't know if we were going to be doing it more frequently because I was willing to. I didn't know, so... What, if anything, did you tell Sean about how you felt about the first freak-off? I honestly don't remember. She said within weeks he asked for another freak-off, and she responded in like the same kind of mixture of like nervousness, what am I going to do? But also I can't say no is the feeling. She says, like, I've already done it, and I ultimately said yes. Why did you feel you couldn't say no? Just didn't want to make him upset. Yeah, I didn't want to make him upset. I didn't want him to make him angry and regret having told me about this experience that was so personal. His trust meant a lot to me at that point. How frequently did you have freak-offs with Sean after they started? After they started, it became almost weekly, I would say. Who was in charge of all the aspects of the freak-offs you mentioned? The hiring, the setup, etc. Eventually it became a job for me, pretty much. To to where I knew that it is something that he wanted to do. I had the contacts to set it up and get a hotel room and all of that. But in the beginning, Sean set it up. He was in charge. Where was the baby oil placed? We poured it all over our bodies. Had to be glistening. Okay. Which participants in the freak off, if any, used the baby oil? Everyone? What temperature was the baby oil when it was poured on your body? It was always heated. Like, keep the cap on it and put it in the sink with hot water and let it warm up.
What the? They giving directions to have a Diddy party? They giving directions now? Hold on, bro. Please do not try this at home.
Cap on it and put it in the sink with hot water and let it warm up. Who wanted the baby oil to be heated? Sean, you mentioned that the baby oil was used because you had to be glistening. Who told you that you needed to be glistening? Sean, it was his preference.
I literally said it in last. Like, you want people to be glistening in baby oil? Oh my God.
How frequently would baby oil be applied to be glistening? Like every 5 minutes? It was a lot.
Whoa!
If he felt like we were too dry, he would let us know. What would he say? He would say, "You're too dry. You need to put on more oil, or you need to be glistening. You need to be
Is that even good? You need to be shining. Oh my God, nigga, what? He trying to turn humans into honey buns, my nigga? Glazed honey buns? What the bro? What's going on with you, Diddy?
Shining. Hey, you're too dry. He would.
But is that even good for the skin? Isn't I don't know. Hold on. First, now we gotta look up baby oil, bro. Okay, we need to look up the definition of baby oil. Okay, what is baby oil even made? Where does it? Look, when I type in baby oil, I see. I can't get away from this nigga. I can't get away from this nigga, dog. I can't get away. No, stop playing. There's no way. Look, I just typed in baby oil, bro. That's all I typed in. I want to buy some baby oil. Damn. What the? Now you talking about what is baby actually used for? Now everybody want to know. Oh my God. Oh shit. Yo, this shit funny, bro. Oh my God. Yo. Yeah, what's this best? Scary. That's what I'm saying. Some people may experience skin irritation or allergic rashes after using baby oil, particularly if they're sensitive skin. What if you apply too many? What if you apply too much? What happens if you apply too much? If you apply too much baby oil. Applying too much baby oil can lead to a few issues. It clogs pores, potentially causing breakouts if you're acne prone. Excessive oil can also make your skin feel greasy and your hair look real oily. Additionally, some individuals may experience skin irritation, redness, or allergic reactions. So you literally can get so much. Irritation on your skin for putting too much of this on, and it clogs your pores, bro. That's tough. I ain't gonna lie.
Felt like we were too dry, he would let us know. What would he say? He would say, "You're too dry. You need to put on more oil, or you need to be glistening. You need to be shining." Why did you know what to do? It's a very choreographed experience. Who choreographed it? Sean. During the freak-offs, who applied baby oil to you? I applied it to myself, sometimes Sean, sometimes the escort. How did you usually apply baby oil? You just squirt it out of the bottle? Approximately how many bottles of baby oil would be used in a typical freak-off? A lot. I would say definitely somewhere close to 10. Now, yes, side note, there were some evidence photos, and they were using, at least I'm assuming they were using the larger bottles. She does confirm it was the larger ones. 10 bottles is about like $80 per freak-off, which I highly doubt Combs is worried about the price. But aside from that, that's a gallon of baby oil. 10 bottles?
Nigga using gallons of baby oil every freak-off, my nigga? Are you serious? Niggas want humans to look like fucking honey buns? Diddy, I'm getting tired of you, bro. You don't even need that much baby oil, bro. You don't need that much, bro. It ain't no way you a grown-ass man using gallons of baby oil, bro. Diddy oil on top of that. Diddy oil. Oh my God, Diddy, bro. You throwing me off, bro.
Is a gallon. I mean, if you were to use baby oil for typical baby care applications, parents would probably go through a gallon of baby oil in a year. Even a full body massage only requires 3 fluid ounces of oil per session. They're using 140 ounces, so that's like 46 full body massages. Even if you were to get a massage almost every week, you could last almost a year with that much baby oil.
So it's basically a gallon dumped in the middle of the room.
Yeah, a hotel room.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and how do you even clean baby oil? It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Now, obviously, this doesn't cover the people who use it for professional settings or for extenuating circumstances. Typically, athletes will use a lot of baby oil, but this is still an abnormally large amount.
Don't let me catch it. Lamar Jackson. Don't let me catch your ass, bro. It ain't no way. What you mean? Athletes use baby oil. I ain't never used baby oil. Hold on. Don't just be... You feel me? I ain't never thought about no baby oil a day in my life playing football. Yo, what's going on right now, bro?
A consumption of baby oil.
But that wouldn't that mean like all of these hotels kind of know about this then? Because
there were some tweets circulating of employees at hotels that were like, hey, so Diddy just stayed at the hotel that I work at, and I'm telling you he's nasty.
Damn.
And like people didn't really put two and two together because it's like, what does that even mean? And like you kind of assume that celebrities have wilder sex lives, quote unquote. Just to remind you, though, authorities said that they seized 1,000 bottles of baby oil during the raid on his homes. Like thousands of bottles, which is exponentially more money. But aside from the cost, once more, it is an insane quality. To which even before the trial, Agnifilo said he probably bought it in bulk, like a lot of Americans do at the local Costco. I'm paraphrasing, and I do think that before the trial started, I was like, sir, what a crazy thing to say. I think you're absolutely insane, and you got a few bolts loose, right? But now I'm like, yeah, no, Mark Agnifilo would say something like that. He'd just be saying stuff. And him and Brian Steele, I feel like they say stuff, and I believe that they believe what they're saying. Like, it's the craziest thing. It's like, I feel like you might genuinely believe that. Maybe I'm naive, and I think maybe they're just that good. Like, they say it with their full chest, but it's also just like their whole demeanor. Anytime that Mark Agnifilo is talking, he sounds like the type that would be like, I mean, yeah, bulk buying does make sense. Like, that's the vibe he gives me. So it did get me a little bit confused. I mean, maybe they're just super convincing, and maybe that's why they're getting paid allegedly 7-8 figures to be on the defense team. I don't know. Both of them do have that teddy bear dad aura, which I'm saying this because I'm sure the jurors are also receptive to the attorney's vibes and energies inside that courtroom, especially when you're there all day, Monday through Friday. I mean, like you can't avoid people's like quirks and personalities and sometimes charisma. Now, I do think, interestingly enough, Brian Steele and Mark Agnifilo are more charming when the jurors are not in the room.
Really?
During like the hearings.
What does that mean?
So they'll be talking to the judge about even like debating that Cassie's husband shouldn't be in the room, right? And I don't think that action is charming, but it's the way that they phrase things and the way that they try to make jokes at certain times. Not jokes because nothing's funny, but like there will be an awkward moment and they'll kind of lean into the awkward moment. So it's very interesting. I'm curious to see how it translates to the jurors in the next 7 weeks. Now, Prosecutor Johnson continues.
7 weeks.
After a freak-off, can you describe the condition of the room where the freak-off was held? The room was usually pretty bad off. There was oil all over the walls, the door handles, the bed, the sheets.
What?
We often would get to the...
Oil on the walls? What the fuck going on the walls?
Pretty bad off. There was oil all over the walls, the door handles, the bed, the sheets. We often would get to the room. I would need to call and ask for extra linens and towels and stuff like that to try and mitigate those problems, but oil, candle wax, all over the place. So she would ask for extra sheets and try to cover the couch. But, I mean, you're not really a gallon of baby oil. You described wax and oil damage. What else, if anything, was soiling the linens? Sometimes blood, urine. So starting with blood, how would blood get on the linens at freak-offs? I was expected to have freak-offs on my period.
Oh! What the fuck? What do you mean? What do you mean? Bro, what do you mean? No, stop. Oh, whoa. Let's go. Slow the phone, please. Slow the phone. What did I just hear, bro? What did I just hear? Oh my God, what did I just hear, bro? No. I was thinking about, DV, you know what I'm saying? Or something. Not this, bro. Not this.
Freak-offs on my period. Did you want to have it? How would blood get on the linens at freak-offs? I was expected to have freak-offs on my period. Did you want to have freak-offs on your period? No, I don't think anybody really wants to do that. And you also mentioned urine. How would urine get on the linens at freak-offs? Sometimes Sean would have, he would have the escort urinate on me. Sometimes there was so much going on, I don't know how they got soiled the way they did, to be completely honest. So focusing on the urine, did you want an escort or Sean to urinate on you? No. And before that happened, what, if anything, did you discuss about being urinated on? There was no conversation. It just was a turn on for him, so it happened. Can you please describe how it felt when this happened? I mean, just as humiliating if anybody were there to see it. It was disgusting. It was too much. It was overwhelming. I choked. There couldn't have been anything on my face that was reading that I wanted to be doing that. I was kind of just laid on the floor in a position that I couldn't easily get out of. So were you able to tell the escort to stop? I just kind of put my hands up, and eventually Sean saw and he told them to stop. Why did you put your hands up? Nothing I could really do laying on the floor. You mentioned choking. Why were you choking?
Right.
Too much urine in my mouth? And besides the escort urinating on you, who else, if anyone, did that? Sean? Did you want Sean to urinate on you? I don't want anyone to urinate on me.
Okay, that was a good response, by the way. They said, I don't want nobody to urinate on me. That's facts. Oh my fucking God, bro. No, bro. This is bad. No, bro. No, bro. I can't believe this shit. I can't even believe this shit, my nigga Diddy, you're cooked, bro. No, bro. That gotta be the nastiest shit I've ever heard in my life, bro. So you mean to tell me Diddy don't even want to have sex normally? Okay? He don't even want to have normal sex, bro. He don't. He doesn't. Okay, first of all, now he's doing freak offs. Alright, so this is now already not normal. Okay? Number 2, he wants to do it on your period, my nigga? Huh? What? Well, how does that even turn you on, my nigga? How does blood turn you on? Bro, I ain't gonna lie. That's like some creepy shit. Now we get into some creepy shit. You mean to tell me, Diddy? You mean to tell me blood turn you on, my nigga? Nigga, are you a vampire? Who the fuck are you, bro? I ain't gonna lie. Now I understand what this Illuminati shit. I understand now. I get it. These niggas, bro. These niggas be eating animals and shit, and I can't. I know I ain't gonna get there. I ain't gonna go crazy. Nope. I ain't even gonna do it. But y'all already know the crazy shit. Okay? This is if this is true. Hey, this shit is tough, bro. Now it was maybe the conspiracy theories on the internet wasn't false. Maybe they wasn't false. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe they wasn't, bro. Maybe they wasn't. You mean to tell me blood turn you on, bro? I've never heard that shit in my life. Most people be like, oh yeah, you know, I'll run the red light. Niggas say that. Alright, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I didn't read the red light. Come on, bro. Alright, if you have a girl, you know what I'm saying, sometimes she might be on her period, and you might still want to do it. But she on her period. And she like, you know what? I'm on my period. I want to do it too, but I'm on my period. So you gonna do it while I'm on my period? And then at that point, it's up to you to see if you actually gonna want to do it on her period. You know what I'm saying? I remember when it happened to me, she was the one whore. Because I think sometimes, even though, I don't know, I forgot how it is, but sometimes with girls, it's like they be ovulating or something like that, and they get like really horny. So it was like around that time, like, I don't know, like she kind of wanted me to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bro, all right, bro, you know what? Fuck it, bro. I might as well, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because she started turning me on a little bit. So I'm like, bro, all right, bro. Put the condom on. Wasn't that bad. Thought it was going to be terrible. It wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Put a towel under her. You feel me? And it wasn't that bad. It was actually more wet. You know what I'm saying? But don't really think about it, though. You know what I'm saying? Think about the sex. Don't think about blood. That's weird. All right, I think Diddy even think about blood. He think about blood. I want to think about blood, bro. I want to think about blood. You feel me? So, saying I only did it on my period is crazy. I ain't gonna lie. That's insane.
Did you want Sean to urinate on you? I don't want anyone to urinate on me, no. And when in relation to the escort urinating on you, did Sean urinate on you? At the same time. Were there freak-offs where you ran out of baby oil? Defense attorney Estevao leans into the microphone on the table. Objection, Your Honor, at this point, it's getting a little cumulative. AKA, it's a lot of repeating evidence that adds little information beyond what's already being established. They're saying, like, we're just doing too much baby oil questions. Basically, you can't keep repeating stuff to try and overemphasize a point if you're not adding any more information or substance to the case. Or it's like if you have multiple expert witnesses that are all testifying the same thing over and over again, then you don't need that many multiple expert witnesses. The judge tells Prosecutor Johnson, let's wrap this up and move on. You also mentioned Astroglide. How was that used at freak-offs? Estevao leans in. Same objection, irrelevant. Prosecutor Johnson this time is not having it. Your Honor, it's a supply. The judge calls for a sidebar. So in court, when there's a sidebar, the bailiff will actually come to like the middle of the courtroom and he will be watching everyone. Like no one's allowed to talk because technically the judge is still on the bench, right? And you see the defense attorneys, you see the prosecutors, and you see the judge literally do a huddle on the side of the courtroom and they just play white noise. But then when you get the transcripts, you can actually see what was talked about unless it's a sealed sidebar. So I always find like a very interesting thing because when it's a sidebar, it's like, wait, why did they call a sidebar? Now I'm so curious. And then later you find out. Now, at this moment in the sidebar, the judge is asking Prosecutor Johnson, Ms. Johnson, maybe you can help us with where we're going right now. I think the objection is grounded in lack of relevance and also the cumulative nature of the questioning. Am I right about that? Esteveo says, that's right. The judge says, maybe if you can give us some guidance as to where you're going next, that would be helpful. Yes, Your Honor. We are going through the various supplies that were used because those are supplies that were demanded by the defendant, that were at every freak-off, that were consistent, which showed a pattern, which showed how he controlled the events that happened at these freak-offs. I will not ask any more oil questions. I have one question on lubricant, but I'm going to march through with different supplies that were present. That's fine. The judge is like, that's fine. I understood the objection to be mainly on the cumulative nature on this. I think we had about 20 questions on baby oil issues, and I think we can condense that a little bit, and you'll avoid the objection. Is that fair?
How long was this baby oil talk? Was it like an hour, 2 hours? Was it like, did it feel like it was extended that?
Right.
I didn't... And maybe because the baby oil was a very big lore.
When y'all was saying it too that he asked good questions, he does ask good questions. This is a good one right here. Cause I low-key want to know that.
And maybe because the baby oil was a very big lore, and maybe it's not the most factual evidence against the charges that he's being charged with. I thought the jurors were engaged.
Oh, you thought the jurors were engaged?
Yeah, I thought that it was. I don't know if it's like importance to the case or maybe it's, shocking information.
Got it.
But it didn't feel overly like, oh my God, let's move on. There were other times where I was like, oh my goodness, like we don't need to know the past 10 residences in which she lived unless you're going to like tie it into something, which I felt like sometimes it was and a lot of the times it wasn't. But this was not one of those situations where I was like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
But to which Mark Agnifilo, lead defense counsel, says, I was going to say slippery slope, but I'm not going to say it.
So he's making a joke.
Yeah, and that's how they end the sidebar. Which is like gnarly because to end the sidebar with a baby oil joke, what is happening right now?
Right.
Which if you're like, are you sure that was a lot of questions on the baby oil? There were a lot of questions on the baby oil. I will give you that, okay? So there were more throughout the entire direct. Were there other ways of applying baby oil at a freak-off? There was one time where I think I got to a hotel in Beverly Hills and there was a pool, like a blow-up pool, and it was filled with lube and oil, so that was a different way. When there was a blow-up pool...
Whoa! Niggas taking Diddy showers, swimming in Diddy oil? Niggas is swimming in Diddy oil now, bro? What the fuck? Bro, Diddy, you getting creative with this shit, bro. You getting creative, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Nigga too freaky, bro. You too freaky, my nigga. I ain't gonna lie. You too freaky, bro. It ain't no way niggas bathing in Diddy oil, bro. Bathing in Diddy oil is crazy. I ain't gonna lie. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That was filled with lube and oil. What did you do with the pool? I don't know what happened to the pool.
Hold on. It's more. Hold on. Whoa.
A hotel.
That's what I'm saying, bro. We an hour and 11 minutes in, and it's still getting better.
Beverly Hills, and there was a pool, like a blow-up pool, and it was filled with lube and oil. So that was.
And that's, by the way, one of the reasons I can make these videos is because that. You know what I'm saying? So this don't really feel like, because I think it's been the last recording ended. I think that was like an hour long. So this is like an hour and 30 minutes, and it don't feel like it, bro. No cap.
A hotel in Beverly Hills, and there was a pool, like a blow-up pool, and it was filled with lube and oil, so that was a different way. When there was a blow-up pool that was filled with lube and oil, what did you do with the pool? I don't know what happened to the pool, honestly. Well, when there was that pool and oil, did you get into that pool? I did, with my outfit, my shoes. It was quite dangerous. Who, if anyone, asked you to get into the pool? Sean, it was his idea.
Hold on, wait.
Did you want to get...
So it was an actual pool of Diddy oil. This nigga made a pool of Diddy oil, bro. Do you know, first of all, do you know how much Diddy oil that is, bro? That might be a little bit too much of Diddy oil, bro. How did you even obtain this much Diddy oil? So you mean to tell me Diddy is like this creepy nigga, like just him and Diddy oil is just come together. That's like his sidekick. You know what I'm saying? So now this nigga's sitting back and plotting on ways to use his Diddy oil. What the fuck? So bro obtained this much amount of Diddy oil, and then now he's creating pools out of it, bro. You want niggas to swim in Diddy oil? That's what you tell me. So if I come over your house right now, you gotta, I try to, so you mean tell me, if I come over your house right now, and I try to jump in the pool, it's not gonna be of water.
It was quite dangerous. Who, if anyone, asked you to get into the pool? Sean, it was his idea. Did you want to get into a pool of baby oil? No, especially not in a hotel room like that. It was such a mess. It was like, what are we doing? Yeah.
Right.
Why did you get into the pool with baby oil? At that point, I couldn't say no. It would have been bad. Yeah. Right. Yeah. When you say bad, what do you mean? What concerns did you have about not getting into the pool with baby oil? That, amongst other things, just his temper. If that is something that he wanted, Sean wanted to happen, that's what's going to happen. There wasn't any other way around it. And now with the Astroglide and baby oil, Cassie explains that if they ran out of it, what would happen when you ran out of it? We would either call somebody, staff, to bring it, or ask the bell desk and give them a tip. When you say staff, what staff are you talking about? Sean's staff. Which members of Sean's staff would resupply the hotel rooms? Assistants, usually? Before leaving the hotel, what, if anything, did you do to clean up the linens you described? I mean, there wasn't really too much you could do, but just give a good tip and hope that they would help out. I would just try to clean up what I could. Usually like an assistant or staff or somebody would come, I believe, after. She says that, in fact, sometimes they would get so many charges for the damage in the room, which completely understandable that the hotels would do that. She says that she heard through conversations with some of Combs' staff members, and she doesn't remember the exact number, but there have been numbers circulating, tens of thousands of dollars.
Dang.
Because I imagine they have to like.
So you mean to tell me, Diddy right now has tens of thousands of dollars of Diddy oil charges, bro. You using that much money, that much Diddy oil. This nigga using this much Diddy oil, so now he getting thousands and thousands of dollars in charges, bro. Bro, this is actually getting outrageous at this point, bro. This nigga actually has addiction, bro. Diddy actually has an addiction to Diddy oil. This nigga Diddy, bro. This shit blowing my mind right now, bro. This shit is blowing my mind, bro. Diddy, bro, what is happening right now?
But there have been numbers circulating, tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, because I imagine they have to like rip up the carpet, replace things.
The furniture and the walls.
Yeah.
This nigga.
I remember specifically hearing like a number that was crazy. It was having to redecorate the room. It was like a really high number to fix it.
That's so interesting. Like even with that, he still chooses to go to hotels.
Yeah.
In a public, not public, but like a, rather than his residence.
Because I guess they're bringing escorts.
Right.
Are you aware which hotel charged that really high number? The Intercontinental Hotel in New York. Which, side note, Cassie says once the freak-offs became her job, Combs would just tell her what to do, and pretty quickly, over time, she says, I knew that it wasn't something that I wanted to be doing, especially as regularly as it became, but again, I was just in love and I wanted to make him happy. And I didn't really know what no could turn into.
Right.
What do you mean by that? Making him angry, very honestly, also making him uncomfortable that I knew this thing and that I no longer wanted to do it. Ultimately, at that point, Sean controlled a lot of my life, whether it was my career, the way I dressed, like everything. And I just didn't feel like I had much say in it at that time, being like super, really young, naive, total people pleaser. I didn't know if he would be upset enough to be violent or if he would write me off and just not want to be with me at all. Eventually, Cassie says there's the element that she was scared that there was also so much blackmail material. She basically felt like, quote, if I didn't do it, that it would be hung over my head in that way or that these things would become public. Which, from my angle and perception, it looks like Combs is shaking his head lightly, which I feel like he does this often when he wants to either show the jury that he doesn't believe what she's saying or a strong, like, no, this isn't what happened. It's like a very, like, no, why would she say that? No, I disagree. This is crazy that she's saying that. He doesn't do that when it's discussing violence or even parts of the freak-offs itself. That's what's very interesting. It's always like moments like this.
Blackmail.
Yeah, and then there was another point which, it's like the same, slightly similar questions, so I didn't include it because, I mean, the direct examination was over the span of 2 days. It's over 10 hours. But in one point she says, like, he has a lot of resources, and, like, he was just shaking his head no.
I wonder if it has, because it's so related to the RICO charge and trafficking, maybe blackmail.
And so he's just shaking his head lightly. And she says initially that these videos were recorded on like small tape-filled cameras. And then eventually it morphed into iPhones, iPads, computers. They were recorded on both Cassie and Combs' devices, which sometimes they would later watch the videos together. Cassie says, I would watch them with Sean afterwards usually when we were having intimate relations, but I also, if I saw them and I was on my own, I was deleting them. She says if she sees a video on her phone, she's erasing it. I mean, she's asked, why did you delete the video that you found on your devices? It's humiliating, disgusting. I never wanted anyone to see me like that. It just was not okay for me. And I felt like it was just tossed around. Like the idea of it was tossed around like it was nothing, like objectifying me and putting me in these really compromising, gross positions with strangers that I just... She says that she would frequently ask Combs to delete the videos on his devices, especially because so many assistants, staff members just constantly have access to his phone and his computer, but he would just threaten to blackmail her with them whenever he was upset about something. She says, quote, "He just wanted to hurt me." How frequently did he bring up the freak off videos to you? I mean, once is too much, but several times. Cassie says that she was so scared that he would be mad enough to put them out, and then I would have to answer to my mother. Like, I just feared for my career. I feared for my family. Just embarrassing, all of it. It's horrible and disgusting. Like, no one should do that to anyone. It could ruin everything that I worked for. Just make me look like a slut. I would be shamed. Like, I wasn't supposed to be on those videos. She's saying, like, she didn't even want to be there. I mean, the leverage of having an incriminating or derogatory, humiliating video of someone telling them they're going to release it if you don't behave the way that they want you to, or whatever the case may be, it was just always like that. Like that was a big part of our relationship. She says, for example, they went to Cannes Film Festival, and this was in her lawsuit, but on their flight back home, it was a commercial flight where there's a lot of other people nearby. Combs was clearly upset with her of a fight that they had in Cannes. He pulls up his laptop and starts playing a video. It's a video that she thought she deleted of a freak off.
Oh, yeah.
And he essentially, I mean, it's insinuated that he forced her to watch it the entire way back. She said when they landed in New York, they ended up going to dinner and they had a freak off. She said, honestly, at that point, whatever was going to make him not be angry at me and threatening me, I was willing to do. Yeah, I just didn't want to feel scared anymore. And one thing he made me feel like it was something I was good at. That was on top of the fact that he was violent with her. Like, the violence was always in the back of her mind. Interestingly, she testifies that the conversation about freak-offs happens around the same time that the relationship starts getting violent. So it's relatively close together. She's asked, why did you agree to a freak-off? And, okay, this is where I do think that Cassie is trying really hard to be honest. Because there are moments like this where she's so candid and she just says, that's a great question. I wanted to make him happy. I was in a really significantly mature relationship that I don't think I was prepared for now when I look at it. But yeah, I loved him. I didn't want him to think that I thought anything bad of him for it.
And this is another thing too. Y'all girls, y'all know how this feel. You know what I'm saying? You can't even say that she's dumb. Because if a girl's saying that she love you, you already know. Y'all girls be crazy sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't care about nothing. When y'all love that man, shh, come on, bro. Y'all don't go balls to walls for anything. Y'all don't care. And the man will be cheating on you. You know what I'm saying? Just doing a whole bunch of bad, not give you the attention that you deserve. All these things that he not doing to be a better boyfriend to you. But you love him so much that you would put up with it. You feel me? So y'all know. Don't sit up here and say that she dumb. Because, bitch. Let's not talk about you now, bitch. Bitch.
Wanted to make him happy. She says that the best thing that she could do basically was just try to disassociate during the freak-offs. I just felt like it was all I was good for to him. I just felt pretty horrible about myself. I felt disgusting. I was humiliated. I didn't have those words to like put together at the time, like how horrible I really felt. And I couldn't talk to anyone about it. So she had to use drugs during every freak-off to disassociate and numb herself. She said it would be a range of ecstasy, marijuana, ketamine, GHB, sometimes mushrooms, just whatever there was, later cocaine. And it was always Sean providing the drugs at the freak-offs. And Prosecutor Johnson brings it back to the urination because I think there were maybe some things that were a little bit confusing about it. And she's asking, like, why didn't you say anything when you didn't want to be urinated on? She says, I mean, in that moment, I was squeamish immediately and high. And in the moment with this man, I mean, that's what happened. That's not a whole lot of control you have at that point of taking that many drugs and being laid on the floor with two men standing over you, peeing on you. Could have gotten up and screamed, I guess. Why didn't you say no when that happened? I thought that it was obvious that I didn't want to do it, I guess. She's asked, how much time out of your week did freak-offs take? It would depend on how long they were. They ranged anywhere between 36, 48 to 72 hours. I feel like the longest...
So you know it's crazy. She never said nothing this whole time. She ain't say nothing about how Diddy was having sex with her. Have we even heard about that? Did he even crush? Did Diddy even crush? Did he? I don't know. We didn't hear nothing about that, bro. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like all he wanted to do was get a girl and just demoralize her. That's what that sounds like. That's literally what it sounds like. He literally don't even care about having sex with you or nothing. He want to see other men have sex with you. And then, while you're, man, that's just sound. I can't even explain it now, bro. Like it's too fucked up to even explain, bro. You know what I'm saying? While on drugs, doing stuff you don't want to do in these weird positions with strangers, and now, like you said, it's two men standing over me, pissing on me. That's fucked up, bro. Like, wow.
It would depend on how long they were. They ranged anywhere between 36, 48 to 72 hours. I feel like the longest one was over 4 days, maybe even more, like on and off with breaks. So
wait, whoa, what the fuck you talking about? Whoa.
I've gotten up and screamed, I guess. Why didn't you say no when that happened? I thought that it was obvious that I didn't want to do it, I guess. She's asked, how much time out of your week did freak-offs take? It would depend on how long they were. They ranged anywhere between 36, 48 to 72 hours. I feel like the longest one was over 4 days, maybe even more, like on and off with breaks. So it was a significant part of the week.
36 being the lowest?
Yeah, and this was happening once a week. She says that the average freak-off would last 2 to 3 days, and she would be awake the full time that it's happening on drugs. The longest one that she remembers was 4 days. She says, quote, I often would try to speed it up if anyone wasn't really paying attention. So to further break down the freak-offs, Cassie explains, there's like acts to it. And each of one of them is sessions. So each time that an escort ejaculates is a session. But there's multiple sessions throughout the span of 36 to 72 hours. But there's acts within the sessions. So the first act of the session would be self-pleasuring while looking at each other. This is what she's saying. When you say looking at each other, who would you be looking at? I would be looking at the escort and they would be looking at me. I would describe what I saw in detail, and yeah, that's kind of how the beginning went. Why would you describe what you saw in detail?
Right.
That's what turned Sean on. That was his fantasy. So yeah. How did you feel about describing what you were doing in the masturbation step of the session? I mean, it was just always pretty awkward. I'm a pretty laid-back person, so like sitting there and describing somebody's penis to another male was just awkward and pretty humiliating, but eventually it just became normal. Did you want to be describing what you were doing intimately? No, I did not. What was the next step in the session? Self-pleasure was just continued to put oil on, eventually get to each other, the escort and I, and actually start touching each other. That would eventually lead to oral activities. When you move to touching the escort, how would you know when to move from self-pleasuring to touching the escort? More often than not, I would ask if it's okay for me to. She would ask Sean. It was his fantasy. He was controlling the whole situation. He was directing it. He was doing the lighting. He was telling us where to be, what to say, how to act in the room. I would just try to speed the process along. It was, personally, if I get it done, then it's over, and then we move on to the next thing, and I just wanted it to be over. And after the oral intimacy, what typically was the next step? That would lead to intercourse, and depending on the familiarity with the escort, sometimes Sean and the escort would both have intimate relations with me or doing something at the same time. Sometimes Sean would just watch. When you say that he'd be doing something with you at the same time, what is that something? If I was having intercourse with an escort, he would walk up and have me give him oral activities. It was just like a lot happening at once. Cassie, also in a now viral moment, is asked about when the escorts would finish. Usually they would finish like wherever Sean instructs, and when it was okay for them per Sean. But if they did, they would usually do it on her, and then her and Sean would go into the next room. So usually they get hotel suites. So I'm assuming all of this is happening in the living room because they're covering the couch with the linen. They would go into the bedroom inside the hotel suite. And this is the now viral moment where she says, Sean and I would go into the next room, and he would want me to put the fluid on his body. Oh! Sean was usually right there directing it where...
Whoa! What you mean?
The fluid on his body. Sean was usually right there directing it where it could be. So she states they go in there, and she would transfer the substance from her body to, quote, usually on his chest, on his nipples.
What the fuck, Daddy? Daddy, you fucking sick fuck. You sick fuck. You sick fuck. I knew it. I knew it.
Diddy. So you mean to tell me, Diddy? This is what I'm saying. Diddy want to act like he don't like boys. Diddy, it's okay, bro. You like men, bro. You like men. It's nothing wrong with that, bro. It's nothing wrong. You don't have to sit up here and make other people satisfy men when he really want to be the one satisfying them. Diddy sitting in the corner watching them too, hoping and wishing and praying that it was him being bent over like that with Diddy oil on his body. That's what Diddy wants. Diddy wants the BBC, bro. That's what that's truly what it is. You know what I'm saying? So now you're gonna make another person satisfy the man, then go in the other room and put it on your nipples, and you rub it on your nipple. What type type of freaky ass shit you want, my nigga? Remember, and there's blood in her too. She was on her period. She was on her period, so it's literally fluid mixed with blood. And you put it on your... Yeah. Yeah. What the Diddy? My God,
to quote,
bro.
usually on his chest, on his nipples. She says that if the escorts would finish before they were told, they would get paid less. And she's also asked, when you say you wanted it to be over, what are you referring to? The freak-off session? I mean, more often than not, I would just want to be able to go to the other room where I could just spend time alone with Sean. When you say get to the other room where you could spend time alone, who was in the room where you were spending time alone? Just me and Sean. And the individual stages that you described, how long typically did each of those stages last? Felt like forever. One thing could be hours, honestly, depending on how high we were, yeah. How would Sean react when you try to speed up the process? He would tell me to slow it down, or tell both me and the escort to slow it down. I could often, like, if I left the room to use a bathroom, I could hear Sean telling the escort to slow it all down because I usually just wanted to hurry. Besides asking you to slow it down, were there occasions where you had to start a stage over if you moved too quickly? Yeah, we would go back to square one. Approximately how many sessions would you have with one escort during a freak-off? I would say at least 2 or 3, but a freak-off could be 3 to 4 different men. And when more than one escort was present, how did the intimacy proceed? Just like it was very like porn, like explicit materials. It was just like I was an object being heavily objectified by men in that scenario, just having to be the only female in the room. Like,
you know what? It makes sense. This nigga probably be trying to set up porn scenes. It all makes sense now. And this is why that shit is killing the men. You know what I'm saying? It's killing men, bro. Day by day, my nigga. Day by day. This is literally why, bro. Okay? So you mean to tell me right now, we now have people that can literally set up these same exact scenes. So now I actually can picture how Diddy sets this up. All right? So Diddy, first of all, he goes on phub.com, okay? Scrolling. He literally scrolling to see what video he's going to reenact. That's what he's doing. He's trying to reenact these videos in real life. All right. Most of us can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have enough money. All right. So we've now found a nigga who has enough money to reenact porn videos. Okay. This is insane. All right. So now this nigga's reenacting these motherfuckers, but not on the regular category, bro. You know what category he on? G porn. All right. So number one, it all makes sense because I ain't gonna lie. GP has a lot of views, bro. All right. It has way too many views. I knew some of it was lying. Some of y'all been lying, bro. I know it because it has too many views. Too many. It's too many, bro. All right. And I know half the views came from Diddy alone. Okay. It came from him alone. Literally. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's talking about, oh, he know how to direct it. That he's trying to make his own. He's literally trying to curl his own Diddy. Oh my God, bro. This nigga's insane. This is the ultimate freaky ass nigga, bro. He's the final boss of freakiness. Bro's directing his own porn, bro. No.
all the sexuals heavily objectified by men in that scenario, just having to be the only female in the room, like with all the sexual stuff. It's just having to entertain one more person, make sure one more person is satisfied.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
During these sessions, where was Sean physically relative to you and the escort? If he wasn't involved, he would just be like outside the room, kind of covered up, not seen. You could just hear his voice, or in the corner. If he was involved, he'd be right next to us. If Sean was in the corner of the room, what was he generally doing there? He was generally self-pleasuring and just talking. What kinds of things did he say? He would just ask me how the other party's private part felt, like what it looked like, how it felt. Oh, this is so awkward. She says that. Sometimes if he wasn't in the room, he would quote, there was like a couple of occasions where he said he wanted to watch from a different room, where he would set up like my phone and his phone would be on FaceTime so he could watch while he wasn't like present in the actual room. So I was still expected to do the same thing even though he wasn't there.
That sounds like P. That literally sounds like P Hub. That literally sounds like the hub, bro. Literally. It all makes sense now, bro. Bro's trying to direct his own hub videos, bro. Dead ass, though. Dead ass, bro. That's crazy.
While he wasn't like present in the actual room, so I was still expected to do the same thing even though he wasn't there. She says that if he actually left though and they weren't on FaceTime, everything would stop. She's like, I don't want to do this. Like, get off of me, basically.
Wow.
So it's like clear it's a performance for him.
Yeah.
It's not something that continues if she's like, oh, if he's not watching, no. Like, I don't want to be doing this. She also is like stating, I've never reached out to any of these escorts without Sean and like his guidance, basically. Like, I've never tried to form relationships with them. I've never tried to meet them alone. Like, nothing. Also, there was another issue. During freak-offs, what difficulty, if any, did escorts have in getting or maintaining stimulated down there? It's actually pretty frequent with people that we didn't know well. Yeah, and they would express it. Like, it's like every time Sean would talk, it would just throw them off. Or if he moved a candle, or, it's distracting, I guess. What did Sean do?
I told you. That's literally what I said. I literally said that. Having an audience, you know what I'm saying? Now, that's also, too, that's another hub type of video is, oh, yeah, I'm hitting this dude girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm crushing this dude girl. And he don't know about it, blah blah. The sneaky fact, that's another hub type of video. You feel me? So, but this dude is making it. This dude is literally making the video as him being the person that's girl getting crushed. Usually, you want to be the person crushing the girl and the nigga mad, but no, he's putting himself in the demoralizing. Like, it's weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand, but whatever. Okay, so now, oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Like, if you in that situation where you have to literally crush this dude girl in front of the man, you know what I'm saying? And he talking, you feel me? Like, that's weird, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Bro, in the corner and shit, like, and then you start just whispering and, like, bro, you can't even look at him, bro. Like, if I look at him, I'm gonna be instantly turned off, bro. Literally. And that's another thing about me. I do get turned off fast, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what it is about me, bro. I just be like, bro, you know what, bro? I'm done, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro. It's weird, bro. Like, I literally have to mentally be there. You know what I'm saying? It gotta be feeling good. All these things. But if you do the slightest thing that is an ick, I'm done, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I never gotta restart again. You know what I'm saying? But me restarting isn't a hard thing to do though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just by really looking at you again, I can get re-stimulated. You feel me? But when I'm already in the zone and something throws me off, I'm automatically done. Literally, bro. Literally.
It would just throw them off. Or if he moved a candle, or, it's distracting, I guess. What did Sean do when escorts were having trouble with maintaining stimulation down there? He would give them a pep talk.
A pep talk? What does that mean? Like, you got this?
Yeah. Were there any occasions where Sean offered the escorts drugs like Viagra?
Nigga said, come on, bro. You can fuck my girl, bro. You can do it. You can do it, bro. Fuck my girl. Fuck her. Beat her pussy up and let me beat my meat in the corner. Come on, bro. You need more lube? Huh? More Diddy oil? Do you need it? Please. You wanna hop in the Diddy pool? Is that what you need? Oh my God, Diddy, bro.
She also states that he pressured her to take it and it made her feel, quote, sensitive and engorged. She states that she did not want to take it. And there was just a lot of things that she really hated doing that she was mentioning, especially kissing. So Witness 2 said the same thing. She said, I was really against kissing. I just felt like it was too intimate, but it still happened anyway. Like, she told Sean, she says that it made her squeamish and he would still request it on different occasions. The only part of the freak-offs that she enjoyed are the times that she could spend with him. And I think that this is where the direct examination keeps bringing in text messages to show, like, there are times where she initiates a freak-off. And she's trying to explain, the only reason I initiated a freak-off is so that I could spend time with him alone. It was the only way that he would spend time with me alone. She says, as sad as it was, I thought, like, it was the only time I could get. She said, I definitely brought up not wanting to.
And that's even crazy. That's how you know she did love this man. I ain't gonna lie. Even when he is doing all this fucked up shit to her, she still want to just be alone with him. Like, she genuinely liked this nigga, bro. She genuinely, like, you would think that, oh yeah, she's stuck in this relationship, she can't go nowhere. Like, no, she still want to be here with him. Like, she still, you know what I'm saying, want to just talk to Diddy. Or no, not Diddy, Sean Combs. That's what she want to talk to. So, that's crazy, bro.
As sad as it was, I thought, like, it was the only time I could get. She said, I definitely brought up not wanting to do freak-offs, but gently because I didn't want to make him upset or angry with me for even sharing it, but I just treaded lightly when I would bring it up. Sometimes I would email him about it like I didn't want to. I just didn't want anything to happen.
You said email him.
When you say you didn't want anything bad to happen, what do you mean by that? Violent? But also him just being like, okay, well, I'll just find somebody else to do it with. Like, you know, when you really care about somebody and you're in love with them, you don't want to disappoint them, so... She keeps bringing this up throughout like the 10 hours. She just keeps saying she never wanted him to feel embarrassed or like made fun of or insecure about his fantasies.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because witness 2 also testified he didn't like being looked in the eye. So it seems like, I don't know, there's like a lot of people have been psychoanalyzing some of the stuff. I don't think I'm qualified, but I will say it's probably very complicated. Some people are even speculating if there were any sort of childhood incidents that would have led to this. I've seen a lot of that online. Yeah. I truly don't know. I don't know if any of that is going to be revealed during the next 7 weeks, but it is very interesting, I would say. As a result of freak-offs, what, if any, medical issues did you experience? I had a lot of stomach issues and like gastrointestinal issues from taking drugs. I also would get frequent UTIs, which are, if you had one, you know how painful it is. No. Just stopping you there, Miss Ventura. What does UTI stand for? Urinary tract infection? So how frequently did you get these UTIs? When we were having frequent freak-offs, it was sometimes like they were back to back. Sometimes I couldn't get rid of it, and I was actually doing the freak-off with an infection. She says it was very painful.
Infected freak-offs?
I tried to flush it out, just drink tons of water, cranberry juice, cranberry pills. I got to the point where Cipro, I think it's like an antibacterial medicine that you take for UTIs. It didn't even work anymore. Yeah, it's just like a mess, like really painful for a long time. I actually can't believe that I actually dealt with that. How did you feel to have sex while you had a UTI? I mean, horrible. It's the most uncomfortable burning. I wouldn't advise it. There's text messages entered into evidence where Combs is asking Cassie about her vocals, and she says, they're good. I have all these sores on my tongue, so it's kind of uncomfortable, and I think I have another UTI. How's your day? Cassie explains her text.
Oh, my God. Pop sale. Wait, so they're not even using, MacBook Pro? Oh, okay, so this is how it looks when you receive. Oh, this is 2012. So this is how it looks when you receive, or not receive. What you doing now? Okay, vocals. How are vocals going? He responded 2 hours later. She responded back fast, and he responded back 2 hours later. Oh, this is 30 minutes though. How are vocals going? They're good. I have all those sores on my tongue, so it's kind of sores, and I think I have another UTI. Yo, that's no. Did Diddy? I mean, he wasn't the one doing it, so I mean, I guess he wouldn't. And I knew it, bro.
So it's kind of uncomfortable, and I think I have another UTI. How's your day? Cassie explains her text to the jury. She says, occasionally I would get sores on my tongue from the freak-offs, the taking drugs, substances, and just friction in my mouth. What was the friction in your mouth from? From oral activities, also having my mouth on things where there was oil and Astroglide and lubricants. How did the mouth sores you would get feel? Just stinging and uncomfortable. Combs texts Cassie back. I'm good. Need you to go to the doc.
How's Cassie's like energy or demeanor during this whole, or most of this?
I don't know how she did it. I mean, I saw my sister when she was pregnant twice. The amount of just emotional turmoil she was in on a daily basis, because it's just science. Like, that's how the brain chemistry and like all these chemicals work inside the body, the hormones. I don't know how she did it. Her voice was steady. She didn't sound like she's overly trying to get sympathy. She didn't sound like, woe is me. She didn't sound angry. She just sounded like, I'm about to tell you guys genuinely how I felt, and that's all I can do at this point. Like, that's the feeling I got. It didn't even feel like she was trying to convince the jury of one thing or another. It just felt like, I am going to answer the questions as honestly as possible. And there would be moments where she would be asked a question and she would start her answer, and then she would say, I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? And so I heard some people saying, maybe it's pregnancy brain, right? But when I was watching her answering a lot of these questions, it felt like she, in certain questions, maybe went back to that time period. And then, I don't know if maybe she's having flashbacks. I mean, physically she doesn't look like, oh my God, I'm so traumatized. But it just was interesting. Like, it seemed like she was in the moment. There were also other times where I don't know why this like made me so sad. She was talking about the Intercontinental Hotel and just how Sean was dragging her. The way she describes it is so emotionless and very like, it is what it is. Like he was just dragging me and kicking me. Yeah. Like it's very like, it is what it is. That is what happened. I would say there's a lot of times throughout where her voice shakes or she grabs a tissue, but there's twice when she gets very emotional. One is in the direct and one is actually in the cross, or like the redirect. But she said I had PTSD episodes. I know Sean was concerned that I was having seizures, sleepwalking quite a bit. In my mind, my body was telling me that I needed to just chill out. A text message thread from June 15, 2013 is entered into evidence. In it, Cassie texts Combs, your sex makes me high. No, like literally, I feel like I took a painkiller, LOL. During your relationship with Sean, who did you want to have intimate relations with? I wanted to have intimate relations with him. Right. Did you want to have intimate relations with escorts? No. But after that, Combs responds back in the text. Dope, I was thinking about a freak off, but I need to be focused. She responds, LOL. I've been thinking about one too. We were pretty focused last time, just has to be the right people or person. She says that this just was the normal way to respond when he brings up freak offs. She never wanted him to think that she didn't want to do it. Approximately how many freak offs in total did you have with Sean? It's impossible to know. Hundreds? She says that, yeah, the violence, the blackmail.
What the fuck? Huh? 100?
It's impossible to know. Hundreds?
Nigga having hundreds and thousands of freak offs, nigga? Hundreds of thousands of nuts?
She says that, yeah, the violence, the blackmail is also scary, but she just desperately wanted to be loved by him. She says her voice is relatively the same throughout the direct, like I said, but maybe it's the word that she uses, and I don't know if maybe I just like relate to it for some odd reason. She said, I really fell in love with him. I traveled with him everywhere. I was in the studio. I was just like a little shadow. Cassie says immediately on dating, Combs just starts ripping into her appearance. She says he would say anything from, I look too Mexican with my hair like that, to, I needed to have my nails done a certain way. I mean, he would clown my chipped nail polish and dirty sneakers. That was like a thing, but appearance was very important to him. My appearance. It varied on what he wanted me to dress like depending on what was going on. Some days he would want me to be really sexy and be his woman, and then other days, I could be on my tomboy looks and stuff like that, but he was very
tomboy.
You mentioned
Nah, bro. Hey, look, I ain't never ever told my girl, can you please throw on a tomboy fit? I have never said that a day in my life. Why would you ever want your girlfriend to dress like a boy? Like, bro, just go live out your and we did hear that he had sex with niggas, so he did live out his fantasy. But, bro, don't do it with a girl. Like, nigga, just go. Cause if you wanna go fuck a nigga, go fuck him. Just go fuck a nigga. Damn. Like, why you wanna turn a girl into a boy? Like, what the, huh?
Then other days, I could be on my tomboy looks and stuff like that, but he was very involved in it. You mentioned your nails earlier. How did Sean say he wanted your nails to look? He preferred them to be white. So I know some of you guys didn't get the context when I said Tenny Garagos, the lead defense attorney, had white nail polish on.
Right, y'all did tell me about that. W.
I think that Nicole Westmoreland, if I'm not mistaken, either it's like a baby pink or it's white. They've got white nail polish. Mm-hmm. She says he preferred them being white from the beginning of our relationship. They just always had to be done for sure, but specifically during the freak-offs, like white or French tip. In the lawsuit, she states that the white, he liked the contrast from usually the black male body parts. What else, if anything, did Sean say he wanted you to do with your physical appearance? I mean, we had discussions about breast implants and just tons of conversations about my body. There'd be comments about working out or just like keeping my shape a certain way when there wasn't much there to begin with. So with her 10-album deal with Bad Boy Records, Cassie says, and this is clearly verifiable, she only releases one album, and even from a public perspective, her career, she was on a high with Me and You, and then she gets signed with Bad Boy Records. She says it feels intentional. She feels like every day she was just doing busy work that would keep her in the studio. She's making hundreds of songs. None of them are getting released. It's like he's stalling her career. He's making her full-time job freak-offs. She's saying music wouldn't come out, but also I would get a lot of opportunities that I would come through that I was told not to participate in, be it a modeling campaign, which was something that I actually did before music, or a runway show. Those are things I just had to say no to, and Sean advised her to say no. So this is just stalling her entire career. I mean, she's even asked very candidly in the direct, why did you not release another album during this time? And she just leans into the mic and she goes, you're asking me? Cassie testifies one of Combs' managers, who is also managing her, told her that he's managing her with one hand tied behind his back.
The manager couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. So her whole life is just preparing for a freak off, doing her nails, getting a wax, getting a tan, getting all the supplies, the baby oil, getting the hotel, finding the escort, making sure that Sean approves them, then participating in the freak off, and then recovering from the freak off. I mean, that's a whole week.
And this lasted like more than a decade.
Yeah.
And they're public figures that's actually being seen all the time, but nobody knew for a decade.
There were actually like gossip columns that called her a gold digger. They made it seem like, oh, she was an aspiring musician, got with a billionaire, and then is now just living the good life. She said emotionally after the freak off, she would just feel really gross and really empty. And so she would just take lots of opioids because, quote, I didn't want to feel what was actually going on in my mind, in my real life, in real time. It was just an escape for me. And it's just crazy that she's on the stand testifying, and there would be, like I said, Combs would have different reactions. Sometimes he's like glasses on, staring at the evidence screen. Sometimes he's like jotting down like he's doing math homework. Sometimes he's just stoic like a statue, leaned back, watching her. Other times he's turning around and mouthing to his mom, I love you. Which, side note, Janice Combs has an intense vibe, like I said earlier. She's tiny, terrifying, but the whole time that Cassie is testifying, or a good chunk of it, she's leaned forward, elbows on her knees, intently staring at Cassie, listening to every word. And you know, I heard a lot of public say, like, I'm just saying, my mom, no matter how much she supports me, I don't think she could hear stuff like that. She would be crying. Something would happen. She can't just be like staring down the person on the stand. Mm-hmm. Cassie talks about how even on her birthday, he forced her into a freak off, which she really begged not to, but it didn't work. And then there were other things that he forced her to do. There is about 10 minutes from the Las Vegas Strip, there's a very distinct green-hued building in a strip mall. It looks like it could be a PetSmart, but it's green, emerald green. It looks like an arcade. It's 18,000 square feet. Once you walk in, there's like a menu board. Sunday through Thursday, couples, $70. Weekends, $80. Single males, $92 to $120. Single females, $26. No open-toed shoes, no athletic wear. You must be 18 to enter. Once you get inside, there's like a few interesting rooms. The most interesting being called the shadow room, where you just see silhouettes of people moving and doing things. It is one of the older, more well-known sex clubs in Las Vegas called the Green Door. Cassie testifies that she was taken to these sex clubs, and sometimes they would bring escorts, and he would also watch at these clubs, and she just did not want to be there at all. Oh, and then another point that I thought was important was, this is what I mean by I feel like she's candid. Like, I feel like she's trying to be very honest. There's this point where she talks about how one of the escorts, Jules, comes to the club with them. And she's asked, did you want to have intimate relations with Jules? And she said, no, not at the club. No. Did you want to have intimate relations with Jules ever? And she goes, no. And, like, her laugh is kind of confusing at first. But then she explains, Jules, like, within all of it, was like a safe place. I saw him a lot. We actually had our own friendship. So being able to have intimate relations with Jules instead of somebody at the club was better than somebody I didn't know, if that makes sense. But I think the way like she even answers no, it's like when you talk about your best guy friend, it's like, oh, no. Like, whoa. It's like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
This is why it ain't no guy friends. Okay? If you are my girl, you ain't having I didn't mean to say guy friends. I meant to say, if you my girlfriend, you are not having no guy best friend. Okay. There's no reason for you to have a boy best friend. What the I'm your boy best friend, nigga. What the fuck is you talking about? I'm your boy best friend. I'm your everything. All in one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a girl best friend. I don't even need a girl best friend. You feel me? I don't need one. Especially if a girl, like, she act like she need a boy best. What the fuck? What is he doing for you? What? Let me know. What is he doing for you that I'm not doing? Oh, I knew him for this long. Okay. And I know a lot of girls since middle school. Like, what? That would mean I need to talk to him. Like, what the fuck? Like, bro, okay, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
best guy friend. It's like, oh.
Let me go back. Because I need to hear this again.
And she's asked, did you want to have intimate relations with Jules? And sometimes they would bring escorts, and he would also watch at these clubs, and she just did not want to be there at all. Oh, and then another point that I thought was important was, this is what I mean by I feel like she's candid. Like, I feel like she's trying to be very honest.
You know, it's kind of weird. I low-key kind of forgot how I felt to be on 1.0. Let's see how slow it is.
One of the escorts, Jules, comes to the club with them, and she's asked, "Did you want to have intimate relations with Jules?" And she said, "No, not at the club. No." "Did you want to have intimate relations with Jules ever?" And she goes, "No, no." And like her laugh is kind of confusing at first, but then she explains, Jules, like, within all of it, was like a safe place. I saw him a lot. We actually had our own friendship. So being able to have intimate relations with Jules instead of somebody at the club was better than somebody I didn't know, if that makes sense. But I think the way like she even answers no, it's like when you talk about your best guy friend, it's like, oh, no. Like, whoa. It's like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
So it seems like she's like feeling a lot of the questions being asked instead of being like, no, yeah.
And everything she said like makes sense, right? Like I think if you have somewhat understanding of how these type of situation works, you can see how and why this happened.
Right. Yeah. Facts.
I think it's just complicated because there's so many elements. I think it's like
I don't think Diddy can get on the case. He might though. Diddy might go up to her all the time because we see that with the Menendez brothers. You know what I'm saying? Usually like the person gets charged, and then the other person who's charging them, they go up there and testify, and then the case, they do like cross-examination. Actually, no, am I wrong? Do the other person usually go up there? I don't remember. I think you can choose if you want to go up there or not. I think so. So I think in Menendez brothers case, it was no like, I mean, it was witnesses, but it was no like the girl could go or the parents could go up there and, you know, they're dead. So they can't go up there and say what happened. So they had to go up there because it's like, okay, what happened? Like, why did you kill them? So I feel like now, since a girl is alive still, which thank God she is alive. You know what I'm saying? Even though she went through a lot of trauma, at least she's still breathing. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, though, and she kind of moved on because she got a boyfriend and stuff now, and she about to have a kid, so she moving on. So that's W. We like that. But anyways, though, I forgot what I was about to say. All right. Oh, if Diddy gonna go up there, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Do y'all think Diddy can go up there? Yes or no?
The thing is,
also too, this is basically the end of the video. Not really. We got about 16 minutes left. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna do even better game. You know what I'm saying? Because if you made this far, I definitely love you. You know what I'm saying? Okay. To the bottom of my heart now. 2 hours. It's like almost an hour and 30. It's like a 2 hour and 30-minute video. No cap. That's kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie. This might have been my longest video. High key. I don't think I've ever made a video for this long. This is insane. But anyways though, if you made it this far, I love you. No cap, bro. This is insane. You know what I'm saying? I would never expect people to watch my videos for this long. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I first started YouTube. This is crazy, bro. I'm so grateful for every person who watched my videos. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all so much. But we gonna play a little game. The game is the common word. Word of the day. Diddy testify? No. Diddy pool. The Diddy pool. The Diddy pool, bro. That's a new discovery. The Diddy pool.
Block.
Complication works. You can see how and why this happened.
Yeah. I think it's just complicated because there's so many elements. I think it's like everything is a building block. It's the age gap, it's when they met, it's the power dynamic. It's like everything is a building block. And when you only take out one building block and say, hey, look, it's like obviously.
And I was even thinking like she started, you know, they met 19 and then the free call started when she was 22. And then every single time she was completely drugged up for days on end.
Yes.
Just the drugs alone for days on end at that young age for that many years is already changing everything in her brain chemistry.
Yeah.
So just that alone, you cannot say that she is a person that can, you know, make decisions on her free own will, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just.
I did see some comments echoing that sentiment. I saw a lot of people on Reddit talking about, technically they believe, right, and it's not really up to us, it's up to the jurors, but they believe that's like a good point for sex trafficking, because a lot of sex traffickers will actually get their victims addicted to drugs and make them feel like they need to take these drugs so that they can get through the forced work, the trafficking, if you will. So I think the drugs do play a big element into it. Again, we're not the ones, it's the jurors. She recounts the first time that he was ever violent with her.
Let's look at what that means.
They were at...
Because I've always heard about the ST, you know? So you're going to check out what ST even means. National Human... Wow, they got Diddy on all this, bro. Diddy on all this stuff. Yeah, definition. What's the definition? A form of human, okay, is a recruitment, harboring, or transportation, provision, obtaining, soliciting of a person for the purpose of, typically induced by, okay, makes sense. Okay. Force case involving young people, fraud, court, makes sense. Okay, makes sense. Okay. So my question is, if this was all consensual, would it still be bad? Or would it still be a thing or no? I don't know. The recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining a person for labor or services. Oh yeah, so if somebody try to humanity, then that means that they be forcing that person to go do something, you know. Okay, so if you forcing somebody, which makes sense.
At a party, they were at this dinner with a lot of other people, and she had seen him flirting with somebody. And there was another person that looked at Cassie and was like, oh, like they saw that she saw it, and she just shrugged her shoulders like, whatever, because what is she supposed to do? And when they get into the car, she says, quote, he knocked me around and was just really mean. His security driver was in the car too, but, quote, he hit me in the side of my head and I fell to the floor of the car. We were in his Escalade, just shook me up and scared me quite a bit, to the point where I was just trying to get out of the car. I was just shocked. I didn't necessarily understand what happened and why he was so angry, except for the little bit he said he was like hitting me in the car, and I don't know, I just hid out at home after that. She also does recount there was a time that she did fight back. They were at an Ace of Diamonds club, and she remembers that they were leaving. She had been talking to a producer about music. He called her a slut or a bitch or something. They get in the car, and she punched him in the face. She had never hit him before. She said she punched him in the face. And she said she punched him as hard as she could punch him, basically. What was Sean's response after you hit him? His whole demeanor just switched over. I remember his eyes went black. It was just like we were in an Escalade, but the two sitting in the middle, the two seats that are separate from each other with the windows down, and we had a friend kind of like following us back to the house. So all of that went down with the windows down, and I punched him, he attacked me, and I was like basically underneath the back seat in the Escalade just trying to cover my face.
Damn.
And Sean was stomping on my face with his foot.
Damn.
How long did Sean stomp on your face with his foot? The ride back to the house was short, but I mean, the whole ride was a fight until we got there, probably like a 10-minute up the hill from the party. It was just me trying to defend myself and cover myself up. I was just I never experienced anything like that before, like getting that badly beaten. And for her to say that after the Intercontinental Hotel, like to say like she never had been that badly beaten, and we don't know. She says when they finally get to Sean's house, I just took off running. I started running down the street. But security catches up to her, brings her back to the house, and she looked in the mirror and she said, she didn't even recognize herself. Knots, bleeding, everything was swollen. She said, I just looked horrible. And then shortly after, Sean came in and he saw me. I think I was vomiting when he came in, and he kind of, like, that person was now gone and it switched over, like freaking out of sight. And he basically said I had to sneak out of the house, out of the back with the security, and go to a hotel and just stay there to recover.
Oh, that was the hiding in hotel incident.
Yeah. The government also brings up another exhibit which shows Cassie's eyebrow being completely, it's a pretty bad wound. The cut looks pretty deep with shades of pink. So it's like pinky flesh, like different shades of pink.
Wait, what do you mean? A picture of a close-up to
of her eyebrow. And there's like maybe,
is this like a never seen before photo from?
Yes. Okay. This is like so oddly specific. You know, like the USB-C, the silver part. So not the actual like plug-in, just the metal part that you stick into your iPhone.
Yes.
It's like a little bigger than that. And there's like pink flesh, and it's like slightly different colors of pink. And then in the middle, it's almost like black. So it's a very deep wound. And it looks bad, and it's deep enough that she went to a plastic surgeon's office in Beverly Hills to suture it. And it's just evidence of one of the many violent fights that she had to endure during all of this. There were other times they were supposed to go to Canada. She was not packing, she had fallen asleep, and then he basically threw her and she hit her head on the bed frame. And when that picture is shown, Alex Fine, Cassie's husband, is looking and staring at the Combs family. And it's like, I think I would feel the same way of like, look at the picture. Like, look at what he did. Like, I would imagine it would be like, look at what he did. And
you know what's crazy? She probably didn't sat up and told him about all this stuff too. You know, so he had to really keep this on silent as well. Like, he probably already been super mad, you know, because obviously, you know what I'm saying, your girl is going to tell you, especially, I think they wife, yeah. Your wife is going to tell you all about, you know, her past life. You know what I'm saying? So she definitely told him about all these.
See if this is normal to you. I would want to know their reaction of like, if you have no reaction, is it because this happens all the time? Is this what you guys are just used to? But what's crazy is that I looked over and it wasn't a member of the Combs family, but it was a friend of the Combs. And he's like asleep. I mean, like full, I'm talking like REM sleep.
Like head on the table type of sleep?
Yeah, he has like his elbow on the ledge of the pew and like his face is resting on his hand and his eyes are closed. And he was dozing off. And so I just imagine if Alex Fine is looking at that, I mean, yeah, I just imagine that's a lot of emotions. Cassie sends a picture of her eyebrow to Combs in a text message, which is also entered into the exhibit. But he responds, "You don't know when to stop. You have pushed it too far and continue to push. Sad." Cassie responds, "Just say sorry. Have some sympathy. I came in saying sorry and I didn't even know I deserved that. You could care less if I was okay." She still has a permanent scar on her face from that and she covers it with makeup. How many times has Sean been violent with you before? Who knows? And clearly, security for all these people working for Combs, according to Cassie, they knew. She says D-Rock, one of the security guys, he cried once when he saw her with a giant golf ball-sized knot on her forehead and black eyes. Cassie says Sean Combs even held one of her friends off of her 17th floor balcony, just like held her over the balcony. She said she saw it and said, "I saw him bring her back over the railing of the balcony and then throw her onto the patio furniture." Even Carrie Morgan, who is Cassie's best friend of 17 years, they got into an altercation. Sean Combs allegedly hit Carrie Morgan on the head with a wooden hanger, and Carrie Morgan and Cassie had a falling out.
See, it sounds like this is what he would do. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. He might have been doing this back with Kim Porter. Kim Porter might have some crazy Diddy party stories too. The original Diddy parties. So, you feel me? That's even crazier to think about. But on top of that, so it sounds like this is what Diddy would do. He would get a girl, basically, get it. You know what I'm saying? They called it really the lever boy method. He already a rich, successful, you know what I'm saying? You know, he ugly as hell. The nigga look like an alien. So I can't say that nigga handsome. He not handsome. I will say that. But he got money. So if you got money, you going to get girls automatically. All right. So you get a girl, you know what I'm saying? Make him fall in love with him. Well, at least with his money, at least. Then he started doing all these things. And he just degrade her the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And just really make the girl his little puppet. You feel me? Whatever he want at whatever time, she gonna do, and nothing she can do about it. Literally, that's how you think. And then once he do all these things, he'd just kill him. Same with Kim Porter. Somehow she just died. They say he the one that did it, but like I said, they say he the one that did it, but no one talks about it though. He's still just roaming free. Everything's normal, right? And there's literally evidence of him coming out and shooting another girl in the face. And his wife. Okay. That's what I'm saying. All right. We got to do better as a collective society. All right. But Cassie could have really died, bro. Not going to lie. She could have died. He could have really tried to offer after he did all these harmful things. Just so she could never live to tell the story. Literally. And then he would have been on to the next one. He probably still having Diddy parties to this day, bro. Until he got locked up. He probably was still having Diddy parties. Because you going to get addicted to it. You feel me? Like.
And so it's just like, Cassie's testifying that everything in her life is controlled by him. He would rent her homes near his home. They would barge in anytime she's not answering the phone. It was just everything. If he was upset with her, he would take away her car. He would take away her jewelry, her gifts, which she doesn't even care about. She said it was just very random. But the worst thing that he took away was, quote, my self-confidence.
Damn.
I mean, just physical things are physical things. But at that point, to me, the physical things didn't really matter. I really just wanted his approval. She said, I mean, the greatest and most complicated and greatest examples are the abuse because, like, I also felt at certain times when I knew that it wasn't even about me. And yeah, like, make the wrong face, and the next thing I knew, I was getting hit in the face. It was like, you know, if I wasn't smiling at him the way he wanted, if I just looked a certain way that he didn't like, maybe I was a brat or something, like he would let me know I need to fix my face or watch my mouth. That was like, those were the things that were said in our relationship quite often. Fix your face, watch your mouth, or you have a slick mouth. Now, there was another exhibit that was entered in by the government, which is a text message between Sean Combs and Cassie, where he says, he's just asking for another freak off. And Cassie responds, that is all we do, and I'm just getting back on track. I'm sure you can call Kim or something.
Oh, Kim Porter?
Yeah, so that was a moment where I feel like there was a lot insinuated, but not a lot proven or explained.
Oh, they didn't dive more into it. She said, I'm sure you can call Kim or something. And we don't know what Sean said. Okay.
I mean, I think he just bypassed it. But like I'm saying, there was not a lot confirmed in the sense of like, okay, there were allegations by certain bodyguards and people that were speaking out to the media that were inside sources and close sources of the Combs family and team. And they had mentioned that perhaps Kim was also part, whether willing or unwilling, to these activities. That text message was interesting. But eventually, August of 2018, the two finally do break up. Cassie just couldn't do it anymore, and they finally have a closure dinner in Malibu. Cassie was already seeing her husband at the time, Alex. They were no longer dating, her and Sean. This was just closure, and it was nice. She said he was just being really nice, playful, laughing, kind of romantic vibes, sort of, but we were just normal, laughing. It ended with him bringing me home, and yeah, that was it. We went inside, went in the living room. He came in, pretty usual, nothing weird, and then he raped me in my living room floor.
Video over. Video fucking over, bro. This shit is over. This shit is over, bro. This shit is over.
How did you physically react when Combs raped you? I just remember crying and saying no, but it was very fast, so. What, if anything, did you observe about Sean's physical appearance? Just like black eyes. I kind of said that before, just wasn't himself. The laughing and like all the things that were happening before that was not there, and it was just like somebody taking something from you just without. You said that you cried. What did he do when you cried? He continued. I don't even know if he noticed, honestly. He continued, finished, and then he got up and left. After the R word in your living room, were you intimate with Sean again? I was, once more, but by choice. Can you explain to the jury why you agreed to see him again after the assault? We've been together for over 10 years. Like, you don't just turn feelings off that way. We were very connected at that point still. I still had good vision of who he was as a person. Like, I didn't hate him. March 1st, 2019, so a few months afterwards, Combs texts Cassie, I'll pull up and handle it face-to-face, no threat, facts, and you will not be threatening me. You have too many iPads full of skeletons. If I was you, I would get me my money, because we both have better things to do with our lives. I really don't want no problems. I got it from here. I tried. Cassie is explaining that Sean wants his money back since the man that Cassie moves on with, her now husband, Alex Fine, was the personal trainer that Diddy had hired for her. So I guess he had paid her for sessions, and then they started having a relationship, so he didn't like that. He wanted the money.
What money?
I guess that he had paid Alex Fine for the personal training sessions. At this point, like, Combs, his glasses on, face all close to the evidence screen, intently reading. Cassie responds, do you want me to tell the truth? It's way deeper than iPads. This is her text message. They talk on and off here and there, but not much. But in 2023, Cassie talks about how she goes to rehab. She says, I was spinning out, and I didn't want to be alive anymore at that point. So this is where she gets incredibly emotional. I was actually shooting a music video with another artist, and I just kept having these horrible flashbacks. And after the video shoot, I went home, and it was like super, super late, and my kids were asleep. My husband was there, and I just remember telling him, like, you can do this without me. Like, you don't need me here anymore, right? And like, while she's explaining this, Combs is just elbow on his chair, kind of touching his chin. Cassie takes a moment and then continues, I couldn't take the pain that I was in anymore, so I just tried to walk out the front door into oncoming traffic, and my husband would not let me. So she goes to rehab, and it's in rehab as a way of dealing with her trauma. She tries to write a book. Not like a book that she's trying to publish, but it's like a book format, like a journal. She just wanted to deliver it to Combs, and she did. She sent it to him. She said, I really wanted Sean to read the information. I wanted him to understand what I had to learn to understand over that period. Why did you want Sean to read the book? Because I don't think that he understood. I don't think after all those years of begging for like sorries and just for him to actually recognize the pain that he put me through, like I just wanted him to understand. I think bigger, more than anything, it was his own personal shame in I'm having to carry the things that were shameful to him. What were those things? The second part, the freak offs, like I took on a lot of the responsibility of that I never should have. He brought the concept to me when I was 22, and I would do absolutely anything for him, and I did. And it never stopped our whole relationship, and it was expected of me, and it made me feel horrible about myself, and I couldn't get it out. I couldn't face him with it. I was always so numb because that's what I chose to do to get through it. Cassie tries to get Combs the book. Eventually, Combs' assistant, Christina Coram, I think that she's going to testify. I'm going to be so real. I think so. But she gets back to Cassie and is like, yeah, no one's really taking it seriously. I don't even know if he's going to read it. So the prosecutor asks, so other than wanting Sean to read your book, what else, if anything, did you want from Sean? I wanted to be compensated for the time, the pain, and like the many, many years of trying to have to fix my life. What, if any, price did you have for the rights of your book? 30 million. Can you explain to the jury how you came up with that figure? I really didn't do any research. I just picked a number that I felt like would alert him. November of 2023, Cassie files a lawsuit against Combs, and within 24 hours, she settles for $20 million. This was speculated but confirmed during her testimony. Wow. She has no more pending lawsuits actively against Combs or anyone else relating to her relationship with Combs, at least as of the day of testifying. However, in the next episode, a huge topic of conversation is that it appears that maybe a pending lawsuit had wrapped up within the past month. Without telling me about any discussions with your lawyers, why are you testifying at this trial? I can't carry this anymore. I can't carry the shame, the guilt, the way I was guided to treat people like they were disposable. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, and I'm here to do the right thing. And with that, we're going to head into part 2 of Cassie's cross-examination, part 2 of her testimony, where there were a lot of audible gasps at one point.
Then it's part 2? Oh, it's in the video, that's why.
There were a lot of intense moments.
This is part 1, okay.
That episode ties into, I guess, like the crazy polarization that's happening on the internet. It seems like every time I go on the internet, everybody is so divided. So stay tuned, and I will see you in the next one.
Guys, this is insane, bro. This gotta be some real crazy shit. I ain't gonna lie, this is history though. We watching history in 4K. Shout out to Rod Mango, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Delivering the video in the most perfect way. You know what I'm saying? Rod Mango's the GOAT, bro. No cap.